Sweet, we'll on that note. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Monoxide Podcast. I'm your host, Harris, a.k.a. Monoxide, man of many automotive... See, it's been a week and a half. It's been a week and a half. We're already making mistakes. I'm the man of many automotive aspirations and mistakes, apparently. But I'm here with my co-host, Dan, a.k.a. Gun at Garage.
Yep. Hello. How's it going?
It's good. You know what? It's a rough intro. We're just going to rock with that. But anyways, today we're going to be on the meet with Joe DeVito. I got to ask, is that an Italian last name or something? It is?
Yeah, Danny DeVito.
So...
Yeah. Is that your uncle or...
Cousin.
Yeah.
All right. I'm kidding.
How Italian are you then?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'd say at least 50. My dad was like 80%, so...
All right. Well, we're going to go run on down to the clinic. And,
right, yeah.
This podcast is sponsored by 23andMe.
Yeah.
No, is it 23andMe? No, what's the
It's
other
one
one?
of them.
Or Ancestry.com? I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way.
That
Joe,
might be
you do a lot of car stuff. You got some fast cars. Or car.
Yep.
Cars? Is it plural?
We have a fleet of cars.
We only talked about one or whatever, which is, the Mustang, which is should be a hint to everybody. This is a little bit of a Ford episode, but you also do a lot of Euro work through your shop.
Yeah, Ford, BMW, and then GM as well.
Okay, so
Ooh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I guess they need to be worked
New
on.
GM stuff sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Really?
It's terrible to work on. Why Camaros don't have access doors in the back for fuel pumps? You gotta drop tank, you gotta drop rear end, everything.
Really?
It's miserable. A Mustang, I can put a fuel system in like 4 hours.
You're telling me that the better platform is easier to work on too? Wow, that is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a little bitter with
There might be more
the Chevy
chains,
guys.
but
Is that the only GM car that you're having trouble with?
that's like my biggest complaint, because everyone wants a fuel system. So it's like, cool, we'll do a DSX kit where you drill the tank, but doing like a 4 system's the way to go. But it's super labor intensive.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And then I know that you kind of said you specialize like in the BMW sort of space, right?
Yep.
Is that correct? Oh, let's backtrack. Your shop name is DRC Automotive, right?
DRC Fargo.
DRC Fargo,
Yep.
That's what it was. Okay.
DeVito Racing Compound is what it started as.
Okay. And I'm guessing you can't Google that, right? It's probably just DRC.
You can Google either one. It'll pop up.
Okay.
We're the only one.
So what threw me off is that you're also like, you work on minis, but minis are technically BMW anyway, right?
For the most, like, it was like 2010 maybe. From there on, they joined.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So it wasn't when they were early, they were separate.
Yeah.
So I got hired at Motorworks in 2014, and Mini was just leaving to go out on its own. So it was just a short period before that they...
Oh, yeah. There's a mini dealership, off
Golden
394,
Valley.
right? Yeah. Is that,
Motorworks Mini.
Motorworks Mini. Yeah, I remember going by there, and I'm just like, that's a lot of stupid cars.
I don't think they need their dedicated own place,
Right.
but yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, there's
There's people
given
out
the
there that
state
like,
we're in, we're the demographic for minis. Now, Texas, that ain't going to fly.
Right.
Mini, the fuck is that?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, ain't
It's
going to fly.
not a truck.
Yeah.
So then, give us a little bit of background onto your shop then. So what was kind of like, how did it come into existence? What did you initially work on?
So, like I said, I was a BMW tech for 8 years at Motorworks. I did a year in North Carolina and then came to Motorworks. Started doing side work. It turned into like performance side work for the most part, but then like I'd slap a valve cover on a BMW or something, the same night. So a little bit of everything. And then I started working more after hours than I was at my day job. So it's like, I think I can make this work. And then I got a shop in Cottage Grove, operated for a month, and then got shut down by the city. Yeah.
Wait, how does that happen?
Zoning.
Zoning? Okay.
I was sold this unit, like the Motorplex garages. Same thing in Cottage Grove.
Okay.
So I had a unit there. It was like 2,000 square feet. And I was going to have my open house, and then the city called me. And they're like, hey, what is this? And I was like, oh, it's my business. And they're like, yeah, it's not business zoned. But all the plans that I had from the guy I bought from, it was all zone business.
Oh, really?
So there was some shady stuff that went on behind the scenes with another shop who was also on the board of Cottage Grove. So there's...
I was going to ask, who's the snitch?
I won't say.
Yeah.
No, we're not going that far. No, no.
Off camera.
Yeah. Well, either way, it's by the way, you get 3 cuts is what I tell people.
Okay.
It's like that after 3 is when I start getting annoyed.
Right.
It's like, oh god damn it, that's a lot of work.
Right.
To be fair, I'd be a little less annoyed with cuts if I had more sponsors, because then that would just be ad space.
Exactly. Exactly.
But so anyways,
Yeah.
you
So
made a jump.
Yep. So city shut me down. I went back to the guy that I bought from and was like, hey, he lied to me, essentially. So he wrote me a check. I left everything in the unit, lifts, everything. And he wrote me a check for everything, and I left. So then I started looking at shops. After that, I started Eurocharged with AJ, Charlie, and Eric. I was with them for 3 months maybe. And then it wasn't working out. So I left and then was trying to find a spot, and everything was, minimum $5,000 a month. And it just wasn't feasible to me at the time. So then I met my fiance who lives in North Dakota, and we were looking at shops up there. It's like you can get 4 times the shop for a quarter of the price. So that it kind of just made sense.
So that's like 16 times.
Yeah.
That's the Deadpool quote, like breaking the fourth wall of a fourth wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still haven't seen the new trailer. Apparently, there's a new one. But so then, what year did you move out there then?
So that was 2019. So I started full time at my business the Friday before COVID.
Yeah, but then who knew COVID did to the automotive industry was insane, right?
And it did. Like we weren't slow once.
Yep.
But at the same time, we didn't get anything from the government because I wasn't in business long enough. And it's like even though
you didn't have a previous thing to show.
Exactly. Even though I'm going through the same stuff as everyone else, they wouldn't do anything.
Talk about the worst time to start a business.
It was. Yeah. But for the car scene, everyone was getting free money. Everyone was wasting it. It was good.
Yeah. True. I mean, okay, here's a question. How many Stimmy check builds did you do?
Quite a few.
Dude, my biggest regret was not buying a Scat Pack during that time. Because, okay, so my dad brought home a Scat from the dealership, like a brand new Scat or whatever. And it was funny, like this one, like the wide body was just like a little off, like noticeably off. The gas cap wouldn't close fully. It was so funny, but it was red. It was Tor red. I always wanted a Tor red Hellcat or Scat Pack or whatever. And I think it was like listed, I want to say 55 at the time, which is like 20 grand cheaper than today.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Right.
But I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I made money trading my Gladiator back in. I'm like, if I would have just got the Scat, I would have broke even and had a fun car for a year.
Exactly.
I mean, it probably would have got stolen, which would have been, again, win-win, but.
Right. Yeah, I had a 2019 F350, and I paid $67 for it, brand new. I sold it during COVID with 80,000 miles for $65.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so you couldn't get a truck, and I had ordered a 22. It took like 10 months to get, and then so I had that one, and I was kind of just sitting on the other one watching the market, and it went crazy, so I sold it.
Yeah, I was getting offers on my 2016. I bought it just before, and then I paid 40 for it, and then they went in where they were 50, 60 grand.
Really?
Yeah, and people, like, I would go to the dealer and they're like, hey man, you want to sell your truck? You want to sell your truck? I'm like, no, I needed my truck.
Right.
I'm like, I can't do it.
Yep.
So plus then I got to go out and replace it at that same inflated price.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I buy at X Plan through Ford, so it's super discounted.
Okay.
Kind of handy.
Yeah.
So then COVID hit. How big was your shop at the time? That was just you still?
Yeah, it's always been just me.
Okay.
So me and my fiance, and then we were 1,500 square feet for 10 months, and then we got the unit next to us, which brought it. Or no, I'm sorry, it was 3,000 square feet. Then we went to 6, and now we're like 9,200.
Yeah, that's pretty sizable.
Yeah, and it's just me. So that's
kind of a similar setup to like Jarrett, right? Like a one-man party that's expanding.
Yeah,
you know?
I think he's kind of limited on space right now until he gets.
Yeah, have you been by his shop?
I haven't.
Oh, okay. It's funny because it's a huge open building, but it's like an imaginary line.
He's got
like if your kids are fighting in their bedroom and they put tape down the middle of the line, right? Yeah, it's that same thing. He's like, you can't go in this space.
Right.
I guess the guy's super cool. I mean, he spills into it every now and again.
Right.
But yeah, he wants more of that area. But
yeah, room is huge. So.
Well, and the nice thing is being in North Dakota, it's significantly cheaper, I hope.
A ton.
Because if you try to get a shop like where we're at right now, Ratified's like right in the metro.
Exactly. My shop located like where Ratified is would be 10 grand a month easily.
Oh, wow. Jeez. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And I pay like $3,800.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So then when did you start on working over there? Like what were the first offerings?
So every bit of work that I had initially was pulling from the cities. So I would go cities back and forth every weekend with my 2-car trailer. I'd finish cars during the week, bring them back, pick up 2 more. It was a grind.
And it was just a little bit of everything?
Yeah, mainly at that time it was mainly Mustangs and like CTSVs, Corvettes, stuff like that. Not a ton of BMWs yet.
Okay.
So the BMW, because like you can get maintenance and repair anywhere down here. Up there's no one. So now that people know that we're there, it's grown huge.
Well, you're a lot more willing to buy cars that can get worked on. That's why we don't have McLarens up here.
Exactly.
Right? Like, where are you going to send a McLaren?
Yep.
Like, yeah, I mean,
I think Chicago's the closest.
to get like warranty work, I think there's certain parties that could be authorized to work on McLarens. We might be getting an authorized party
and I know
here.
some places you can like fly their techs in.
Yeah,
and let
yeah.
them come work. I think AJ's done that a few times.
Oh yeah, I remember him posting about that a few months ago. Yeah, which is just crazy. But damn it, I had a thought I was gonna. I lost it. Damn. But no, with the McLarens, like it's a bit of a problem because like nobody wants to buy them.
Exactly.
Because like once we got the Ferrari dealership here, like I think the wait list, or not wait list, I think there was 250 or something Ferraris ordered for the next year.
Wow.
That were on order. Because I was talking to somebody that worked there at the time. He's no longer there. He moved on to pursue his other passions and dreams. But I'm just sitting here thinking, like, dude, if there's like 200 or even close to like 300 orders coming for, I think it was for 2023, it's like,
Right.
It's a lot.
Absolutely.
Same thing applies. But yeah, I think we might be getting somebody here locally that will be able to service McLarens. Because like the scan tool, that's what I was going to say, might be, I think it's like 100,000 or something.
Probably.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah, every scan tool now is so expensive. And they're all,
Really?
I had a 2024 Range Rover in. Lady called and she's like, hey, I have a transmission malfunction. So my thought was, okay, I'll just clear everything out of it or see what I can see and try to fix it for you. And my scan tool wouldn't even pull the VIN. So I called Jaguar Range, and they said after 2023 they're all locked.
So in 1996, the government said everybody has to go to ODB2.
Exactly.
Right? So that you didn't have to do all that.
generic codes in the ECU, but I couldn't get to the TCU.
Oh, really?
Couldn't get to anything else.
So now we're right back in that boat where everybody
Exactly.
has their own specialized shit.
Exactly.
So
as long as you can read engine codes, you're fine.
Okay.
So it
You
was
have to be able to-
standardized, and now it's not anymore?
Yeah, so before that they had ODB1. So
Like a gray
everyone had
area.
like their own little scan tool. It was super like archaic. Like
Yeah, it
Ford's
was like
one was
the-
like 2 different
the
plugs.
slides on the
Yeah.
Snap-on deal.
And then it would like some of them would even just like flash lights or like beep certain amount. And
yeah,
then you
your
had to
check
like
engine light would flash.
you had to decipher codes and like a decoder ring code book. It was like a whole thing. And then
It's like Morse code.
yeah, exactly. So then the government got involved because they make everything better, and they're like, hey, sometimes it works out. But anyway, they said everybody has to go to a standardized whatever. So you can't be, I only work on this, I only work on that. They had to be able to be like a standard thing. So that's when ODB2 was born, and anything 1996 and newer has to be ODB2. So that you can roll into O'Reilly's with anything,
Right.
and
Pull
they
faults.
can pull a scan or a code for you.
Which sounds like it is super helpful.
Yes.
And now we're just going
Yeah.
back in time.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
To be
my
fair-
scan tool was updated like a week before that, and
Uh-huh.
it wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, well, we can always count on Range Rover and Jaguar to progress the automotive
miserable.
industry.
Yeah, they're miserable. I couldn't find the battery in it, and repair instructions are also locked down on them. So like my all data, I couldn't pull up anything. It's
Wow.
like, where's the battery on this thing? And I called, and it's like under the rear bumper cover. You have to like use a jack to lower it down, and then you can service it.
Really?
It's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Stupid. I'm guessing it's probably just something to like keep the dealerships like having their like service departments maybe.
For the most part.
I don't know. I don't trust that brand.
If you're buying a
Right.
Jaguar and taking it to some random repair shop,
Right.
it's probably not a great idea for you anyway. And it's like,
Right.
I keep thinking you're so orange now.
yeah, I did. I got some.
Yeah, you
sun.
got some sun on that
Yeah,
cruise, dude.
I did.
I've never-
Snorkeling in Cabo was pretty freaking sweet.
How long was that for?
7 days.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that your first cruise, or have you done them
No,
before?
this is our third one.
Okay, so you like them?
Yeah, it's cool because it's your resort moves from country to country or place
Right.
to place, right? So you're bouncing around different places, and then in the meantime, they're feeding you and filling you full of alcohol, and
Right.
it's pretty
Shows
good
and
time.
stuff, too.
Yep. This
Awesome.
one was a little more. The shows were a little more, like musicals, which I'm not really into. My wife is not.
Yeah.
She doesn't care either way, so
Yeah.
we avoided that. But
Yeah, you're usually a lot more translucent.
yeah, we're from Wisconsin, so we belly up to the bar and sit there, right, and just
Right.
bullshit with people. That's what we do in Wisconsin. So that's what we did on a
Right.
cruise ship.
Meet a bunch of people.
Yeah, exactly.
So then, at what point do you start? When do you start becoming the BMW guy?
So 2020, we were like 80% performance work, 20% BMW work. 2021 was about 50-50, and now we're 80%
Wow.
BMWs. So I really only try to push BMWs.
And that just happened by chance, or you just liked
Honestly,
doing
the
it?
clientele.
Clientele?
Yeah.
Is it pretty
Performance
BMW?
stuff sucks. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can't please everyone, you know, especially during COVID when you couldn't get parts.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
the bad guy to everyone.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what am I supposed to do? Make this stuff?
Well, then you make it faster. They beat the shit out of it. They break it, and then they come in and this is your fault, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had a customer we built a car for. Long story short, they would tell me, you know, this is happening. So then I'd come down, get it again here to the city or Fargo to the cities, pick it up, fix it because I did the full build on it. Come to find out, they're putting 5 people in this car every night and going out racing it. So you're adding 1,000 pounds of people to it.
Yep.
No wonder the transmission's grenading. No wonder the rear end's blowing up. You know, it's people don't listen. So
And just ripping on it every single night.
beating the crap out of it.
So adding that much weight, it's just it really multiplies.
So a prime example was like on Steven's dyno, it made 22 pounds of boost, I believe, with 5 people in it. When I pulled the log, it made 26 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
you're, you know, because there's more load.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
yeah,
that's on a dyno. That's a different
right.
moving on a street with that many people is a whole nother animal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and customer supplied parts.
Oh, well, there's your problem.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, I've heard a lot of shops just avoid. If somebody brings you a box, you're just like, nope, take that back.
Absolutely. So I was in a lawsuit for the last 18 months over customer supplied parts. We worked on a Jeep, all customer supplied lockers, air lockers, front and rear. Installed them. Everything worked perfect. Like 4 months goes by. They're like, hey, my pinion seal's leaking. And I was like, okay, bring it in. I'll check it out. Just make sure it's nothing we did. And yeah, just the seal seemed to be leaking. So I put a seal in it, shot him a bill for like $350. And it turned into, well, you installed it wrong.
Ah.
It's a seal. He pounded in, you know?
Yeah.
And so this went back and forth. So I was like, okay, I'll eat the bill. You know, come get your car. Like 5 months later, same thing. So long story short, they ended up suing me for $10,000 because the shop told them, this was on the front diff, they said that they have to be replaced in pairs, front and rear. What sense does that make?
Yeah.
So they racked up this bill to try to, you know, strong arm me. And then, yeah, I had to go to a deposition for 8 hours. It was ridiculous. Over a, you know, $18 seal. And yeah, they racked up when they thought they were pawning it off on me. Their lawyer told me that they had $55,000 in lawyer fees racked up.
Oh my God.
So that was hanging over my head for 18 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane. So we ended up winning, and now they owe him like $36,000. Yeah, so it's like, you guys should have just left me alone.
Yeah.
That
I
is
tried to help
crazy.
you.
That's rowdy, dude.
Yeah, it's insane. But I lost 28 pounds the month of October because that was my court date. Yeah, like lowest month the shop ever did. It was terrible.
Was that a good 28 pounds or no?
It was
start.
needed. It was needed, but like I couldn't eat. I was so scared, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, naturally, if you have a potential, $70,000 or whatever.
So the worst part was, it was $10,000 to start, and then in court we had it down to like $2,100 because it's like, I'm not going to buy you a new front end. I'll buy you one from Carpart with your same mileage.
Yep.
You know, and then swap the stuff. So we had it down to like $2,100. So had they approached me initially for $2,100, I probably would have just paid them to go away. Now they're stuck with all this debt. You know?
I mean, that is something I've noticed too. Is like some shops, like they just like to. Sometimes it's less of a hassle to just pay it off and disappear.
Right.
But like when you start getting into 5-figure range, it's
Right.
like, all right, hold up, let's talk.
Exactly. And they were so stingent on, you're going to pay this. You know, you did this. This is your fault.
Uh-huh.
It's like, the lockers work. You know, like everything we did works.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a seal's leaking.
Yeah, that's so strange.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
insane.
I've heard crazy stories. Like I've heard people in like actually a mutual friend we know has fixed certain cars where things have been installed backwards.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna bring up who or what,
Right.
but it's like Yikes! That's why your shit's grenading.
Yeah. Some of the work that I see coming out of Fargo shops, performance-wise, is insane.
Oh, really?
Gatorade overflow bottles. From like, I had this one guy. He said he spent like $40,000 with this shop. Gatorade overflow bottles, all Chinese intake, like a fake Chinese fast intake, like the worst welds you've ever seen. Just terrible. It's like, where did the money go? But that
Alibaba.
yeah. But it seems to be getting way more and more common.
I think is Fargo still growing a little bit too. I mean, that town's been kind of up and coming.
It's growing
for a little
crazy.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have bought like when I first moved there.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, obviously.
Yep.
But yeah, everything's super inflated now.
Yeah, as being a state that's just outside Minnesota's wonderful rules and regulations, they tend to do pretty good hanging out right on that edge.
Moorhead, you can get property for nothing.
Yep.
Because they want
Moorhead's
people
a
there.
shit town.
Moorhead sucks.
It sucks bad.
Moorhead's where those Jeep people are from.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
That's rowdy. So then, okay, tell us a little bit about your fast car, though.
So it's a 2014 Mustang. I bought it brand new. It was the first car I ever ordered, and it was stock for so I was working in North Carolina. So I went to BMW school, and you pretty much get bought from a dealership with your knowledge then. Mm-hmm. So like the F30 BMWs and stuff, that was all new when I was in school. So like I brought that knowledge to the dealership. So that's all I worked on. Mm-hmm. But a dealership buys you out of the program, and there was none here that do that. So I ended up going to North Carolina, did my year, and then moved up here. But when I lived down there, I had that, and then I had an Evo 9 and moved back here, turboed it immediately, stock motor, single. Mm-hmm. And it was untouchable. Like that car it was fast for what it was.
Was it making like 5, 6?
Probably 850.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it was on kill.
We're rounding up.
Yeah,
okay.
it was awesome.
Oil pump gears too right away too, or you just
so
slapped
my car was the
okay.
first one I ever did them on.
Okay.
It was nerve wracking the first time, trying not to drop the oil pump bolts, and it's terrible. So then after that I put a Power Glide in it, and then it went to built motor, which I got scammed on. It was supposed to be built by one shop, and it wasn't. Came with build sheets and everything. Mm-hmm. And I dropped a sleeve at Power Cruise. So,
and what was that? What year would that be?
That was like 2017,
okay.
16, 17, way back.
Mm-hmm.
And that, because you guys go to Power Cruise?
We know of it. I want to go. I have not been yet. Yeah.
I've surprisingly never been either.
Really?
Too. I've been to Proving Grounds once,
okay,
and then I just never made it up to Power Cruise. This year I'm really itching to
go to the first Power Cruise.
Okay.
Really?
Because no one's got their cars done yet, so it's dead. So we have an X3M as well. We put 550 miles on at Power Cruise.
Oh, wow.
That's rowdy,
it's
dude.
like 6 tanks of fuel. we were only getting off the track to do bathroom breaks, grab drinks, and get fuel.
Oh, wow.
It was awesome. Then spent a bunch of money, built motor, built Power Glide, because the Power Glide melted at Power Cruise. Mm-hmm. Not made for that.
Yeah.
Built motor, Power Glide, built rear end, and then it was 1,100 horse, and then it lifted ahead back to the machine shop. We O-ringed everything, then it made 1,500, and this is all each year progressing.
Right. So now we're up to 2019-ish?
Yeah, roughly.
So I'm not the only one that breaks shit over and over again every year.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
It's terrible. I don't recommend it. So then sent it back down, had it all gone through again. We O-ringed everything, and then it made 1,689 through a Glide with a GT55 single turbo. Mm-hmm. And the power band, it was 6,000 RPMs is what it needed to be happy. It was terrible. So if I floor it at a red light, it would take 68 miles an hour to get moving.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So you're flooring it. My fiance's got a Trans Am. She would be, 4 cars ahead of me, and I'm flooring it. And it's come on. So the big turbo stuff sucks, I think. Unless if you do a bunch of transmission tricks and stuff to get it to spool up quicker or put nitrous on it. That was my other go-to. But I ended up just putting twins on it recently.
Right. Okay. How recently was that?
I just picked it up 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
About a month ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it I've ran it, and that's it. I have the whole turbo kit in the truck. I'm having everything powder coated this weekend.
So then was it mostly for roll racing then before? Or like power cruise instances? Or?
It was just street.
Street?
Whether it was digs or rolls.
Really?
The
Okay.
car was like unbeatable for probably 4 years.
Okay. Before we get too far into the show, I wanted to take a moment to talk about Raise a Hood. If your daily driver is having issues, aka your beater you got off Craigslist, Raise a Hood's telemechanics and AI tools can help you diagnose and solve the issues you may be dealing with for a fraction of the cost. All you have to do is add your car to the Raise a Hood garage to get started. You can provide the AI tool, also known as Gus, with the specifics of the issues you're having, and it'll help you narrow down what the culprit is. It's a great way to bounce ideas off of to figure out what actually might be the problem. You could then select from a variety of solutions to explore the cost and difficulty of doing the repair yourself versus taking it to a shop. If your car doesn't have detailed solutions yet, that's totally fine. Just go ahead and add your car to the garage for free, and that'll let the Raise a Hood team know what to focus on as they continue to develop and grow. If you want to try out Gus or chat with a telemechanic, go to raiseahood.com and add your car to the garage to get started. Use code MONOXIDE-FREE for a 1-month free subscription or Monoxide20 to save 20% on a 30-minute call with a telemechanic. Let's get back to the show. So how did it do on digs then, since it took a while to get the punch?
On the street early on, it would go like 620s on zero prep.
Oh, wow, okay.
At like 120 roughly. Now it's much quicker, but it works very well.
So how big are the twins now?
6871s.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're comp oilless, water cooled.
Okay. And so you said that's the build with 1689, or you still have,
The single turbo was 1689. This one should be a little bit more.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
At 1689, we maxed out 3 525 Hellcat pumps. So now I have 4. So I should be able to go 1900 or so. Yeah, it sucked like setting safeties for fuel pressure. Like, you want to put it on kill, but you can only go so far.
Yeah. Who's your motor built by now?
The current one's fast forward.
Okay.
Yeah, I was using NPR and had some issues.
Yeah, so the one that I just popped is an NPR one.
Okay.
But I know mine's legit because I got it from Dan Schoeneck.
Okay.
So he's not really in the business of screwing people.
Right.
But
Probably a motor I sold him to have built, because I sold him a motor like 7 years ago.
Oh, really?
Is it a Gen 2?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it was on an F-150.
Was it really?
The block at least.
No, mine's a GT350 block.
Okay, got it.
So yeah, it's a 5.2.
Got it. Nice.
But yeah, I need to have it sleeved and stuff because I torched a cylinder.
There's a local guy sleeving him now.
Oh really?
Yeah, Nate Overby.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget his YouTube, but yeah, he's on Facebook, YouTube, everything.
Okay.
Why does that name sound familiar? What does he have?
He's got a red SN95 Mustang, which was Terry's old car from way back. It was LS with a might have been LS turbo deal.
Okay.
And now he's putting a Coyote in it.
Okay.
But he runs a machine shop, so he sleeved the whole block by himself. So I'm kind of letting him be the test mule, and if it works, I'll send him 2 or 3 blocks for backups. But
well, we'll definitely need to talk, I think, after this too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, he the nice thing was he called Fast Forward, and they sold him, or they didn't. They got him in touch with LA Sleeves. They gave them all the dimensions to put in CNC. So it's like all the hard work was kind of done. You just need the machine to do it.
Right.
So, and he's got all that, and he's smart.
Oh, sweet. Because that was one of my holdbacks. I got to send it somewhere.
Exactly.
Mostly was to
and,
get it done.
And his, will be. I sold him my same turbos, 6871s. I'm a comp dealer. So his will be same 1800 to 2000. So it'll be a good test. Hopefully it works.
So how much of that build are you doing yourself then?
Everything but fab and wiring. I do some of the wiring. I'll add stuff in, but Stephen Keene wired the whole car.
Okay.
And he tunes it.
Gotcha.
By far, he's like a Brian May, but a little more. You can talk to him a little easier.
Okay.
So I was going to ask you that about tuning then. So who's tuning your Coyote stuff? It's
totally depends. If it's like a bolt-on minimal stuff, I'll use Casey remotely.
Okay. Yep.
Otherwise, we're direct with Lund. I've used Rob Shoemaker a few times. Otherwise, Steven.
Okay.
So Steven will only do modular stuff if it's on Holly.
Okay.
Big Holly guy.
I used Cy Lee first time. That turned out not well.
Yeah.
And then it was Casey this last time. But I'm pretty sure this is one of those things, right? So I built a car, then I said I built this work, and then shit happens, and I can't. even if it was somebody else's fault, I mean,
Right.
I've had somebody tune it. I had somebody help me do the work on it.
Right.
I've done some of the work I've done myself. I beat the shit out of it. I drove it through Iowa and
Right.
probably got some bad gas is what happened to me.
Okay.
But I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, it was your fault.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't have dead proof of any of that
Right.
shit anyway.
So like same thing. I don't know if you guys saw. I broke a Bellic wheel. Have you guys seen any of that?
Was that your car?
Yeah, that was 2019.
That was your car, the one at the end of the drag strip?
Yeah.
Or whatever? Like you were
That was
going
the
like
gray car in the picture.
you were going like what? Like 180 or something. Or
The data
not
log
180,
showed
but-
181, but I
Holy
went through the traps at 169.
And yeah, okay. You tell the story cuz this I did not know that was your car.
Yeah, so we went to, where was it?
Was it up north here?
No, it was Illinois. Drawing a blank. Not Byron.
One of drag strips in Illinois.
Cordova, yeah.
Okay.
We drove out there. Me and Deanne had like just started dating, and and we had gone out the night before and drank way too much. So like I was puking that morning. She's sick, and then I'm in staging to go, and like just pulling up, and I'm like, oh crap, there's fuel tanks in the trunk. So I unloaded all that, thankfully, because those would have been along for the ride then. So we threw them by the fence. I go up. So while we were doing that, a truck grenaded the rear end, it broke the drive shaft, which broke the pinion, and then it ripped the transfer case off it.
Holy crap.
Like screwed everything up. The track was down for like an hour after that. So then I'm next up, fresh prep. I went a 498 at 142 in the eighth, and then a 777 at 169. But the wheel broke at 1,000 feet. So like driving along, and I felt the car drop, and then my wheel just went zipping past me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm that guy that didn't tighten his wheel. You know, like I'm an idiot. My car is ruined. And so it spun around. So as soon as I was trying to keep it straight and it wasn't working, and so I finally hit the chute. And as soon as I reached for that, I don't know if I jerked at the same time or what, but the car started spinning. So it spun 4 times, wrapped the chute up all around it. Yeah, it was terrifying. I haven't raced a quarter mile since.
That is sketchy.
Yeah.
But then so you looked at the wheel then. It broke though, right? It wasn't something you did.
It sheared. And it was on the big end of the track. So rewind like 4 months. I hadn't moved to Fargo yet during all of this. I was like in the process. But I had raced a dude on the street in an Evo, and he went in the ditch like when we raced. And the owner of Bellic Wheels told everyone that I put my car in the ditch the night before it broke.
Oh.
So he tried blaming me for the break. But this was afterwards. So like as soon as it broke, I posted on Facebook like, oh, I ran my first 7, but we had an issue. Like I didn't bash them. I didn't do anything like that. And I messaged him on Facebook and was like, hey, this happened. Call me. I should have recorded the call. Because he's like, yeah, that wheel, it's a known issue. Like they're breaking. And it's like, well, I just bought these things 6 months ago, And this was like right when Calvo broke theirs too. And Damien promised him that he was going to buy back a bunch of wheels, and apparently it never happened or something. Long story short, he blamed me powder coating the wheels. He blamed incorrect torque, street driving, incorrect silicone, like everything. Just
Allegedly, because this isn't recorded.
yeah. That is all on Facebook Messenger. Him admitting that there was issues was on the phone.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I wish I would have had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then, like, knowing what I know now, I should have sued him. But I was starting my business. Like, I was moving to Fargo. It wasn't a good time to do that.
You just wanted to move on.
Exactly. So, and he told me, I'm going to take care of you. Everything's going to be taken care of. And because when it broke the wheel, I was on the rev limiter for like 4.5 seconds, not realizing it. And yeah, it lifted a head, ruined the motor. It was like $34,000 in damage.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And all he did was bolt new centers into my wheels and send them back to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Like you're going to put those back on.
So then I sell them.
Yeah.
The day I get them back, I list them for sale. And he messages me, for sale already? LOL. Like, really?
Yeah.
I almost just died, It's insane.
So you said, okay, so I didn't see, so that happened to Calvo as well?
Yeah, I think he's broken 2 of them.
Really?
Sheepy broke one. There's a dude just recently with their new style, like the Series 10 or whatever that's new. Dude with a C7 just broke one. and he posted about it, and then the post was gone immediately, and his car was shared on the Bellic page the next day. So there was some sneaky stuff. Damien tries to cover everything up. They're breaking all the time, I guarantee it. But he just tries to cover it up.
Such is the world of speed, though.
It's insane.
Like that, dude. Like,
And it's all relevant. Like anything can happen. You're signing up for it, when you go. But that shouldn't happen.
Well, yeah, especially when you're talking about like, super high power and, going fast. Like, obviously you want to trust your equipment, but
Exactly.
Yeah, you're putting faith in that, what they say,
Right.
Yeah.
it's tough. Like, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. It's like, shit happens. Like,
Absolutely.
Because like you see that all the time with some of these big power guys. It's like, well, that's part of being a race car.
Right.
But that's also sometimes, this is where we're going to stop being devil's advocate. That sometimes it can't always be an excuse either.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's just a quality issue.
Exactly.
And again, I'm not involved enough to know enough of this, but apparently, I've talked to other people that are in that high horsepower category, and it's like, yeah, it's a bit of a meme to get those wheels.
Right. Yeah, because like when they first came out, they were on Vipers, Lambos, all that, and Aaron Nth Moto, he would have been running them all, but I'm good friends with Aaron and broke that and ruined that relationship, and just ridiculous.
What do you have on your car now?
RC Comp.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to switch to something polished, so I'm kind of looking at other options right now. But
and in the GT500 world right now, the signature wheels seem to be the real big
signatures and forge lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Because you have a new GT500. Right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. And I took the carbon wheels off because I'm too scared.
Oh, is it a carbon?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're sitting in my shop, and I don't know what to do with them. It'd be nice to have that money to put more stuff into the car.
Yeah. Because they're what, 15, 20 grand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Realistically, they're probably like you get 13 to 15 grand for a set. Yeah.
Yeah. I just recently built a GT500 for a guy, and he bought these like pucks that you lift the car with.
Yep.
And there was no wheels on it when I got there, carbon fiber car. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, just put the wheels on, lower it down, and then put my pucks on and lift it back up. It's like, I'm not touching those wheels. So I floor jacked it, I'll put these on myself.
I've had to call around. I need one tire mounted, and I've called some people to see, hey, who wants
Motorworks BMW.
Yeah, that's Jarrett sent me there.
Oh,
that's where he told me to go, yeah.
Did you use them?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
I have to get it mounted still.
Yeah, they just did a set for another guy, like, within the last 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's scary, dude. I would not want to be the guy touching those.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
What about magnesium wheels?
I don't know a ton about them.
Yeah, is there many issues with them?
So they're lightweight,
yeah.
but magnesium is flammable. So this is one reason why
it's banned in drag racing, but it's fine for everything else because Porsches have them.
Yeah.
I fought with somebody about this a few weeks ago, actually, and he's like, no, man, magnesium's flammable. You can't use it. And I'm just like 3 of my friends have it on their GT3 RSs. What do you...
Right.
Well, actually, the new GTD is going to have magnesium wheels, too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I have a set of Celine magnesium wheels, which are like super uber rare.
Really?
Yeah.
So I think it's got to be some sort of compound then, right?
Something.
Because I've been in chemistry class. I've seen that fucker go up in smoke.
Right,
like,
right.
I'm like, those wheels get hot. Like, so like, the math wasn't mathing, but I don't know. You know what I'd like to get? I'd like to get somebody on here who like makes performance wheels.
That'd be cool.
That's gonna be my plan for PRI next year.
Yeah.
The Kaiser owner is fantastic. Did you go to PRI this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were with him at the bar afterwards on like Friday night, I think. Super cool guy. And their whole factory burned to the ground, and he rebuilt everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you know the Koenigsegg factory burned down too?
Really?
I was watching a JWW video recently, and apparently, like, however long ago, the Koenigsegg factory burned down.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this was, like, recent or... I don't think it was, like, recent, but I don't know if this was, like, 5 years ago or a decade ago or whatever, but, yeah, apparently that was a thing.
Crazy.
I really should have looked into that more, because I was just like, oh, that's an interesting fact.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, they were, like, a lot of these early hypercar companies, like, their cars are super expensive, but they're running on credit.
Right, absolutely.
So it's like when something like that happens, it's like, yikes.
That same guy that I built that GT500 for, he was just wherever Koenigsegg is, and he went and did the factory tour. And like he said, you check your phone in, you leave it at the front.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's no pictures, nothing. You can like take your picture at the end with everyone in front of the factory, but that's it.
Oh, wow.
That's fair, though.
And he said it's like a doctor's room, like clean as can be.
Oh, yeah, because again, I was watching that video with JWW, and it's like the tour. It's like you could eat off the floor.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Reminds you of like the NASCAR facilities, like with how clean those always are.
Yeah.
It's
The
insane.
Daytona 500 was today too, right?
Yeah, it got rained out yesterday.
Yeah.
So is it going on like right now then?
I think like right now. We'll be back with the podcast, boys. No, I think it started at like 3 or whatever. So
Okay.
3 hours deep. How long does it usually go for?
I have no idea.
I'm not in that scene, but like after watching the new
I'd say
Netflix
all
series.
of 3 hours.
I was thinking 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Alright.
just watched that
Yeah,
series the other day.
it was good.
Yeah.
They have an IndyCar one coming. I think it's going to be on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
I'm going to watch that because I want to get into IndyCar too.
Yep.
Just because, the thing is with all these big motorsports, you see these, the engineers switch from sport to sport.
Right.
It's like, oh, we're going to go do F1 for a while or F2
Right.
and then we're going to go do this, whatever.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, super cool.
All the live data on that stuff is insane. Like, say they get some slip in turn 4 or whatever, like they can dampen it remotely to adjust for the slip.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's insane.
So the
It's all
driver
live.
just concentrates on
Exactly.
driving.
And like he reports what he notices
Yeah.
and they make their changes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy. How involved are you in watching F1? So not really. Yeah, because like we're about to start the new season, so I was about to say I was about to go down a rabbit hole.
I know like the Max Verstappen or whatever.
Yeah.
And a couple of them, but not
Do you watch any motorsport or not really?
not really.
Yeah.
Ever since like No Prep Kings. What's the Street Outlaws?
Yeah.
It kind of ruined car TV for me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I used to watch this show too,
Yeah.
and it got so full
It's
of
terrible.
shit.
you know,
Yeah.
street cars.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah. If your shit shows up and
As they're
it has to
prepping
show up
the
in a
street.
trailer. Yeah, right.
You know,
Yeah.
with a golf cart.
Then there's always that fake like cops, everybody run. It's like, yeah, okay, there's TV cameras
Exactly.
everywhere.
Yeah, you're not
giant
moving, you're not
lights.
moving this operation.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Well, you see how long it takes for me to pack up the cameras after this podcast. Like cops. All right, give me 5 to 10 minutes.
Exactly. yeah, especially if you have a car to load up. Not
Right.
happening.
The story that Eric Bloomy told on this when he saw this crazy, I think it was in 2017. He saw this crazy race at Texas 2K or whatever, and apparently like cops were coming, and these guys showed up at like 3 or 4 a.m. in trailers, got out, had their race suits on and everything for like a street race.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the cops came out, so the guys just drove into the trailer. Guys still staying in there,
Yeah.
in the trailer, and
did
then they
leave
drive
with
off.
a minute?
Yeah, and I'm like, well, the logic tracks. I mean, as long as nobody brakes too hard, we're good.
Right. Yeah, man.
If you built a car like that, take it to the track. Go run with cars like that. If street
Right.
stuff should be, there should be like 1,000 horsepower limit, right? They should just
Right.
be in that driver
slow,
range.
guys.
Well, I know cars are getting ridiculous. It's stupid, but
Ridiculous. You're talking to one of the ridiculous people right here. What
Yeah,
you're
but
like,
you-
Like with mine, if I don't have 300 pounds in the trunk, it won't do anything on the street.
yeah.
yeah.
So I built a whole weight bar, so I have 1-inch plates all bolted to
You
it.
get to that point where
Yeah.
you go, okay, I'm now leaving the realm of street car and
Yeah,
I'm entering the race.
definitely riding that
flirting
line.
that- yeah.
Because like I have AC and heat still. It's still full interior back seat. Batteries in the same location.
Street car still.
Street car. Like my fiance drives it more than I do. And
Wow.
like my only complaint is the steering is terrible because it's manual rack.
Okay.
But like my Fox body, you can steer it however you want. This one, if you put your arm in one of the holes in the wheel and let go, I'll bet it would break your wrist.
Really?
It's insane.
Is your Fox one, is that a Flaming River or what?
Yeah. And
yeah.
so is my other one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't understand why.
I have a Fox that they put a turbo kit on and they took their idea of making it manual was just take out the power steering pump and leave the rack.
Even that's better than what my car is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shit. I'm either going to put all of it back in there or get a Flaming River rack or something
Yeah.
and go
That
with
or
that
you
route.
can do an electric assist Volvo. I think it's Volvo or Saab conversion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pretty slick.
What about traction management? What do you have in there?
Holly.
Holly. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
So I have Holly traction control, and then Steven has his own magic that he overlays with it. So basically, it's time based with timing and boost.
Okay.
So it's totally. So when I roll race, I do boost by speed.
Okay.
And then when I dig race, it's boost by time.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I was gonna ask, because like, again, especially when you're on the street,
Right.
it's about the leave, right?
Right.
That's just crazy, dude.
Right.
That's-
And like on my car, when I had the GT55 on it, so like roll racing, I couldn't do anything under 60 miles an hour. So like if I start at 45, it would take 12 to 15 seconds of brake boosting, like to get it ready to go.
really?
Yeah. And then it would come in so hard that it would just blow traction control wouldn't catch it at all.
Do you remember how long we were brake boosting in my car till you heard a spool?
Yeah, not that long.
Yeah. Like we have an X3M and it's like now, you know.
Yeah, because like I got rolling anti-lag or whatever in my car, you know, courtesy of Brian May next door.
Mine too.
And I remember asking him, I'm like, how long should I do it for? He's like, I don't know, half a second.
Yeah.
And you're telling me
You're sitting there for like 4 seconds. Yeah.
So you have to 10 to 12 seconds. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then like at the track.
But that was
or
on the single,
street,
right?
That was on the single.
Okay.
Track or street, whatever, on the trans brake, it would take anywhere from 7 to 10 seconds to get to target launch.
Okay.
That's crazy.
And by that time, so like I don't let my car run at all at the track. I don't heat it up like because it gets hot. Mm-hmm. So I'll pull into staging, do my burnout. Trans will be at 90 degrees. When I turn off after an 1/8 mile pass, it's at 210. Because you're sitting on the brake for so long.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's terrible. So I added, now it's way better. Because I just had like this little Duramax cooler up front. Mm-hmm. But I seriesed that with a huge derail in the trunk. Mm-hmm. So it seems to be working pretty well. Last summer I went out and raced a Viper with Aaron.
Okay.
And I was able to make like 8 hits on the highway back to back and it didn't get hot at all.
Mm-hmm. So well, that's good.
Definitely
against
awesome.
Aaron, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he kicked my ass every time.
Which car was that?
That was Jordan Martin's, the blue one.
Nice. Okay.
Yep.
That's a cool car, dude.
Yep. I met Aaron racing Jake Thomas's Viper, the black one, the black TA2, I believe it is. When my car was at like 1100 horse, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll turn it down. It'll be good. You know, it'll be a good race." And like, it's like a black blur going by you. You know how fast it's insane.
Those cars are crazy. I got to ride a Minneapolis Mopar's car a handful of times now. I think I probably...
You go to Texas with him, don't you?
Yeah, we just got back from Texas a few weeks ago.
Was that the Motorplex?
Yes.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool. To get a lay of the land. The cool thing about that track compared to the one that just got torn down, unfortunately, is that the Motorplex, the track is on top of everything.
Right.
So if there's rain, it goes off to the side. Right. So if for whatever reason, you know, it sprinkles the night before or whatever, there's a chance that you can race the next day.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we rented Motorplex.
Okay.
2020, 2021. 21, I believe it was. And a beautiful facility. And it's like 7 hours closer than Houston, so that's...
I think it was 4
or
5. But either way, it's
drastic.
Still,
yeah.
Well, that's what it feels like too, though, because like we're talking 19 hours versus 14.
Exactly.
That's huge because 14 you could easily straight shot. And,
exactly. That's a day trip.
You know, some lunatics you could do in 19 hours, no problem. You know, because they're used to the road trip. But like,
well, somebody doesn't want to leave till 9 a.m. Other parties in our group are ready to leave at like 3 or 4 to make that trek.
Right.
You know. Some people can't get up that
These
early.
guys said 2 a.m. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind.
2 a.m. is when we meet up, and then we pick up your pansy ass.
Funny.
Yeah, because like I have to drive an hour that way anyway.
Got it.
Actually, no, never mind. We would meet about a half hour in between or whatever. But it's like if we wanted to start in Hudson, you know.
Is that where you're at?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
So like that's an hour drive for me, and I'm just sitting here thinking like if
Where
they
are
want
you?
to, I'm down in Shakopee.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm sitting here thinking like if I have to, you know, if we want to leave at 2 a.m., I have to, you know, leave my house at 1 a.m. So I might as well just, you know. Listen, I'm all for waking up at 4 or 5, no big deal. But you start going into the just after midnight zone.
Yeah.
Now some parties may say you could do some party favors, stay up the night, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
but
not me.
Not at my age. No thanks.
No.
Well, I got higher blood pressure than both of you, so leave me alone.
Right. Yeah. That's probably why your doctor is telling you to piss off because he's like you shouldn't even have these problems.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, if I did party favors, I'd completely understand. But I'm as clean as a whistle. I don't even drink.
Yeah.
I'm like the only
Maybe you
24.
should start. That
I
might
don't
be your
drink much
problem.
That's what I
either.
thought too. I'm like, maybe I could take the edge off
Right.
and it'll lower my blood pressure.
Right.
I'll be a medical marvel.
Yeah, exactly.
How the hell do we get on that? So, but no, I think literally like when you're on, you know, on the break, that puts on a hell of a show at the track.
It's cool. Like it makes a bunch of pops and bangs, flames. But like it was super annoying. So like anyone that I would draw to race, I'd have to go up to them like, hey, my car spools super slow. I don't want to burn you down. You know, let me light the bulb and then count to like 5 in your head before you come in. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that all sounds great, but it never works. You know, they see you bump and they're scared to red light, you know, or scared to not get in quick enough. And yeah, you end up just getting them hot. You're hot. It sucks. So the twin should be much better. And if not, I'm putting nitrous on it.
Is that something we're going to see people start to trend towards more and more, is the twin setup?
So like we were talking about earlier, I think it's horsepower based.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's some guys that can make the big singles work really good with a lot of transmission tricks. But I'd say 1,000 horse, you should be looking at twins because you don't lose your spool time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But then we also have people like Mike coming on here. You know, he has his ESS and he's making high 900 wheel.
Yep.
How much can you... Because those centrifugals, they can go up pretty high too.
Depends on the unit.
Yeah.
I want to say like a YSI is good for like 1,400. I'm not sure what the ESS kits are.
Yeah.
I want to say like 1,100 maybe.
Some
Before
of
you
the-
gotta
yeah.
go up.
Dude, some of those Pro Charger kits they had on display at PRI.
They're huge, like crank driven ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane.
How do those work?
There's a mandrel. Well, some are like a cog belt. So you have a cog on the crank and then cog belt with the Pro Charger right above the crank.
Okay.
Otherwise, some are mandrel direct to the crank.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they like dock each other.
Yeah. Okay.
Think of it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I just want to add a new type of soundtrack.
2024, we can do anything now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to Grindr. This is the one side of the hub I wasn't expecting to be on.
Yeah, right.
That's the thing, man. You scroll for long enough, you're just gonna be like, "Huh, what's that?" And then all of a sudden, you're into something new.
Right.
So
Was this your first PRI or have you guys
Yeah.
been before?
yep, first one for us, and that's why I'm excited. Like, this is my
It was a
first
good
year going
one
to SEMA.
Be your first.
Yeah.
It was. So we went to SEMA first.
Okay.
And then I went to that.
Same year.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So then we were like, wow, I keep hearing about PRI and they say that's for real race car
Yeah.
guys. So I'm like, all right, we got to go check it out. It's in driving distance.
Right.
We don't have to fly there. So yeah, we decided to make that happen. And yeah, it was because there was only that one section of SEMA that I got excited about was where they're showing all that shit anyway.
Right.
You know, I didn't really care about the cars and all that kind of
SEMA
stuff.
seems to have a ton of cool tools. I haven't
Yes,
been to
I
SEMA.
did the tool room.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was awesome.
That's like the only reason I would want to go, I think.
Yeah.
Huh.
And to think that like Harbor Freight gets such a bad name.
Right.
But they had such a display and a
Yeah.
setup there. It was
Yeah.
insane.
And like their pliers and stuff are identical to Snap-on.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care what you say. And it's got a warranty, so if it breaks, whatever.
They got their
you
new
know.
Series 3 toolboxes too that
They're
are
insane.
like almost, I mean, they're 1/8 the price of a Snap-on
Yeah.
box.
Yeah. Snap-on markups are so my Snap-on guy, like he'll have a beautiful box on the truck weekly, and I have a Milwaukee box.
Yeah.
Like not because like when I quit my job, so every job I've had has had supplied toolboxes, so I've never had a toolbox. Then I quit my job. I'm like, crap, I need a toolbox. So I went to Home Depot, picked that up. But my Snap-on guy's like, trade that thing in. You know, it's time for a Snap-on. It's like 17 grand for a double bank.
Yeah.
You know, and then I was like, I'll give you 5 cash, and he's like 7. He's like, you can come down that far? You know, like I wasn't expecting that,
Yeah, right,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what the heck?
We just knocked 10 grand
yeah,
off this right
yeah. It's like, that's tempting, you know?
there. Yeah.
But now I know it's worth 3, you know?
Right, exactly.
Dude, that took a second to buffer with me. I was just like, huh?
It's insane. Yeah. Yeah, like my dad's got a Mr. Big. My dad has the first Mr. Big that was built. Had the first one, it was damaged, got the second one. And that thing was like 40 grand back in 2006, 5. It was nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm posting a highlight. We're gonna get Harbor Freight as a sponsor of this some bitch.
I
Yeah,
bet they would, man.
definitely.
They're really up and up on their tools right now, their hand tools and other stuff.
Anything that I'm not using every day is Harbor Freight.
Okay,
Yeah.
No reason not to be.
keep talking.
Yeah. Yeah. I majority of my tools are Snap-on, like wrenches, ratchets, you know, like the good tools.
Yep.
But like my vacuum bleeder, Harbor Freight, Pittsburgh Harbor Freight, you know,
Yep.
it's all cheap stuff. You don't need
I
any of
grew
the-
up working on cars with my dad, and we were always Craftsman guys. They were the
Yeah.
Harbor Freight of back in the day, right?
yep.
But still, you get the same warranty. You
Right.
got all the
Walk
same
into
stuff.
Sears, leave
Yeah,
with
well, yeah.
whatever.
When they existed, it was
Yeah.
super easy to get that stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm not. There's the new one to the game for
Yeah,
the cheap
I
shit.
broke a Craftsman wrench the other day, and it's like, well, I don't think I can do anything with that.
No.
Weld it up, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I remember I was talking to Balto, right? Because I like to bounce ideas off of him, like who to reach out to for potential sponsorships
Yeah.
or whatever. And I still have yet to do that, just because again I've been bogged down. But I'm just sitting here thinking, like, why not reach out to everybody?
Right.
It's like I'm not just
Yeah.
gonna reach out to people that I know
The worst
directly.
thing you're gonna get is a no.
That's kind of what I've
Yeah.
learned in sales positions. The ones that I've done well at and the ones I've been fired from is like, the worst is you're gonna get a no.
Exactly. So like prime example for everyone listening, sponsors. Don't reach out to a small business owner and ask them for $4,000.
Right.
And you have no following. Like it's just
Yeah.
not how it works. Like my buddy Kyle, we just sponsored his car and it was $250 for the banner, I believe, for like his pit mat, and then it was $500 for all the merch and the pit mat. And it's like, well, $500 is way more appealing to a small business guy,
Right.
and he filled up all of his spots in like 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
So it's like,
Yeah.
be smart about what you're asking for. I've had dirt track
Exactly.
guys email me like full portfolios, and it's like, cool, like what do I get? And they're like, oh,
Correct.
well, we live in a small town and there's like 4 BMWs there. It's like, that's not.
Yeah, I get it. But that's the other thing too. It's like,
Yeah, that's to benefit you too.
Right.
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 Otherwise, you're
Absolutely.
just giving away money. This isn't-
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not the
And
government.
like, prime example, like Kyle's my buddy, so we're sponsoring him. But
relationship
trying
is
to-
part of it too.
Absolutely, but
not always.
Trying to get away from the performance stuff. I'm not going to sponsor like putting a valve cover gasket on your BMW. Like
Right.
it's
Why
a little
not?
bit-
No.
I know.
But yeah, when we had, were you a part of the podcast yet? When I had Charlie on, I think you were, right? Charlie
I
Maine.
was not. I came in. Yeah, it was. Yeah, what
Yeah.
am I talking about? I didn't talk to Charlie.
Just checking your memory, Biden.
Yeah,
But that one went over.
It was
your head.
erased in Mexico.
But no, we talked about him, and it's like, or we talked with him because like he used to be on the receiving end of that when he worked at MAP. And
Okay.
it's
Oh, that
like,
Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So he's like,
He's on his own now, isn't he?
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
And there's some things he's waiting to announce
Cool.
or whatever. He's doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
That dude's legit.
Yeah. He's a nice guy.
Super nice, dude. The kindest. But we were talking about it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, like it's if you go above if you put more effort in, not just doing like a regular email like, hey, give me free stuff, but put together a package like you mentioned,
Right.
But then also there's an actual ROI there.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, businesses got to make money.
Exactly.
Now big companies like Summit or whatever, they could risk a little bit more.
Exactly.
But the more appealing your package is, like Charlie mentioned, like he gave sponsorships to guys that had no following
Right.
because they perform on track.
Right.
Like if you have a guy that's setting first, second, third, whatever at an autocross.
Even someone that's going to every event.
Yeah.
But you get people that reach out to you. Well, I race twice a year. It's like, what is that doing for me?
Yeah.
Right. Now, granted, if you cut me a $10,000 check right now, I will be at every event this season.
Absolutely, and that's a huge part of it too. They're trying to race more with your money though.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like that. I have my own car to race.
There's that too. So and that's the thing. Like, I can't remember. I think was it Balto or somebody else suggested that I reach out to like local shops, right? But again, those guys don't have as big of like, for example, you're a local shop, right?
Right.
Like you're not gonna cut me a check for $10,000,
Exactly.
like unless there's a
Unless
direct
you sue me.
correlation. Yeah.
But then there's some that are just willing to help. Like, welcome here to the Ratified Studio here. Just shout out to them.
Right, exactly. Like this space,
Yeah.
right? It's like no sweat off the back or whatever,
Right.
but it's a good mutual relationship.
Absolutely.
Like this makes sense,
Well, that and it brings so many people in here.
right?
Yeah.
It's great.
Right, but it's like if I were to bring in like one top tier 1,000 horsepower build, makes sense. Now,
Right.
not saying that that's going to happen. That's why we
Right.
have a unique agreement. But like if I again was working with, a big company like Summit or something,
Right.
and I could move 20 seats, with code monoxide or something.
Exactly.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Because
on
with that
front.
stuff, you get a kickback, don't you?
Depends on. There's so many different agreements. Like I know some of these like affiliate ones, right? For example, like this Jocko stuff. Like even though they're not actually a sponsor, I just like the product.
Right.
You get 10% off if you use code monoxide, but then I also get 10% commission.
Cool.
I've never moved shit besides Sean. He's the only
Right.
person that's ever bought it. But it's it's like I made $20, but it's
Right.
like if you have that, for example, like actually no, another one's like Lunatech, right? So they're another company that I work with here locally to develop their own detailing product, which is I just put out a video the other day, and it's like I think you get 10 or 15% off. And here's the deal: if I ever do affiliate stuff,
Yep.
I will take a smaller commission if it means you get a bigger discount,
Right.
Because like 10% is nothing.
Exactly, yeah.
Who gives a shit about 10%?
Especially like I've got like my buddy Josh just messaged me earlier for brake pads, like strange brake pads, and they're like $55. My cost is $53.89. It's like you might as well just buy from them because I have to charge you tax then, and they don't. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's some of the dealer stuff is a bit ridiculous.
Well, so I have an account because I have a business. I have a fleet account at O'Reilly's.
Okay.
So I'll go, which I'm getting this. I can't.
Do you pay taxes there?
I do.
They charge me taxes too, and I'm a business account.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
doesn't
get
even
it.
think about it because technically you're reselling kind of. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they have my resale certificate and everything.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. But anyway, the discount I get on some stuff is huge.
Right.
And other stuff, and I can't like. Usually it's their branded stuff that I get a better discount on.
Right.
But they'll also like if you find it online, sometimes they'll still you can negotiate with them sometimes on parts. So I'm like, listen, man, I could walk across the street to Walmart and buy this jug of Motorcraft oil for half the price.
Exactly.
So they'll do it. But I don't know. I'm having trouble going to O'Reilly's lately because you can't get anybody over the age of 14 to work there.
Yeah.
And I stopped going to Napa and I went to them because they were having better deals on parts. And I called Napa the other day for something and he was like, oh, do this, this, and this. I don't have that part, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, or try O'Reilly's. I was like, I was already there, man. He's like, oh, did you try here? I was like, listen, you're the only adult I've talked to today.
Yeah.
So let's just put it that way.
Right. Yeah, we if we're not doing factory parts, I'll get stuff from AutoZone. But like not Duralast stuff. I'll do like Molly, Delphi, stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm going to take a second to support the home team. Many of you know the podcast is based out of Ratified Motorsports, who makes some of the sickest builds out here. That dyno you all hear downstairs has seen some serious cars. Whether you're looking for a standard tune for your cute little Volkswagen to a full-on Supra or RS3 build, you should give Ratified a call to get the sauce. Check out ratifiedmotorsport.com/performance to see what they can do for you. Let's get back to the show. All right, here's a question for you guys. Who has a better jingle, AutoZone or O'Reilly's?
My kids sing the O'Reilly's one all the time.
See, I don't know. AutoZone's been stuck on my head for the last week because I know Balto has been talking to
I'm
the
drawing a
AutoZone
blank
people.
on what both of them sound like right now.
Well,
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
O'Reilly's one.
What's the AutoZone one?
Get in the zone! AutoZone!
you're right.
Man, I
That
think
is
Get in
good.
the Zone
It's a
might
good
be-
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's another
A
good
little
jingle?
more hyped.
I know somebody's going to text me more jingles now, too.
Yeah, right.
Because this
Your
episode's
phone
going to
By the way,
tomorrow.
we're open for sponsorships here.
Yeah.
Any of you, I know we butchered those jingles, but
I don't know. My AutoZone one was
Yeah,
pretty
it was
on
pretty
point.
good. It was
It was pretty good. I'm going to cut that. It's going to be great. I'm going to make it my ringtone.
Are you guys going to TX2K this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. So we're actually going together, and then Caleb Eisenberger is going to be joining us
Okay.
as well.
Caleb's a good dude.
Dude, his car is going to be ridiculous.
He's got a lot of cool stuff.
It comes and
Like
goes.
a lot,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and
I don't think he keeps much, but the stuff he's got is pretty sweet.
His C7's been in the works forever, and
Right.
that we'll see what happens with that car. But he picked up that ZR1, and that thing is
Yeah,
wicked.
it looks nice.
Yeah, so that
I
dude,
wish ZR1s weren't $100,000.
yeah.
you know, some of them aren't.
It's
Right,
gonna look really.
80,
We're gonna have a.
some of them aren't that either.
Have you seen like 50s?
Yeah.
Really?
Surprisingly,
Huh.
I've seen 50s and 60s. Like these are like, and not to say that these guys, that Caleb's was that much, but I'm saying like I've seen the occasional deal go up.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
Like I want an Inferno Orange ZR1 really bad.
you might struggle to get that one for
and
a
like
good price.
75 is like the cheapest I've seen with like 60K on it.
Being in my position too, and this is where I'm excited as Monoxide continues to grow, is I get to see more and more of these off-market deals.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you do too as well, being in your position. Like occasionally something might come up. And
Well,
you're
that
just
and like we buy cars off customers here and there.
Yeah.
So that's like your best bet. You know?
Yeah. Especially if you've got a large bill to pay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have an E90 that I picked up off a guy, like $3,000, and it's like what I drive every day.
Really?
You know, and I have like 4 brand new vehicles. I'd rather drive this thing. Park it wherever you want. It's got hail damage. It's
That's why I love my town car,
Right.
man. I bought it just to drive over here for this because I'm getting tired of driving through the metro.
right. Yeah, I had to drive my truck today, and it's like, man, this thing sucks. Like brand new truck, and this
Yeah.
thing sucks to drive. If it doesn't have a trailer on it, it's bumpy. It's
Oh, I know. That's what I always say all the time. My truck drives like a hay wagon. I
Yeah.
put bigger springs in the front because my plow was making the whole front end sag.
yeah.
And so now it just the front end is just barely higher than the rear end, and I'm gonna probably put 350 springs in the rear just to fix that.
Yeah.
I have airbags back there too, which I could play with. But my dad just makes fun of me all the time. He's like, "You got one of them tail draggers?
Cali lean.
You just moved down to Tennessee and blah
Carolina
blah."
squat.
I'm like, it's like half an inch off, man.
Right.
The only person that knows it does it is you.
Right. I'd rather it be a half inch that way than a half inch that way.
Yeah.
As long as you got airbags.
Yeah.
All right, so that I should fix the rake on my Golf is what you're telling me then?
Oh, is there one?
A little bit. Yeah, because when I made the adjustments, I think I dropped the front a hair more. It was the rear. I think it was the front. I dropped a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I just been too
The
lazy.
coilovers,
Yeah,
or- got it.
I just been too lazy to get under there and do anything. Which, by the way, Dan, I need to schedule an oil change to use your lift.
Sure. You can get Harbor Freight to give me a toolbox.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I will work on your car all you need.
I didn't say you have to do the work. Just let me throw it up on the lift
Yeah.
to do an oil
Right.
change.
Yeah,
that's
I
no
just need to
problem.
lift.
Dude, did you guys see that crazy photo that just circulated recently? Like the Mohawk lift that tipped over with the truck?
Oh yeah.
No.
It was really weird though because it was like the top part. There was only maybe an inch of concrete still hooked to the bottom of the post.
Okay.
So I don't know if they just didn't get the anchors in deep enough, or if it flaked off and kind of chipped like a, whatever that stone is that. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, I don't know if it pulled out or what happened there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it tipped into the truck.
Man, that's like my biggest fear.
Yeah.
So I'm doing an engine on a C8 right now, and those are falling off lifts all the time. So
Yep.
I have it strapped to the lift.
Oh really?
Like this thing's not coming off.
Is that like a regular thing for them to be falling off or something?
Apparently.
Yeah, no,
I've heard
there's
of, like,
there's
4
like
of them.
there's like a special way that you're supposed to lift them or certain lift points on them because
And like
of where
when
the engine
they're
is.
complete, they're fine. But if you pull an engine out of it, all the rear weight's gone.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I saw a video of
Forward.
a C6 do that recently
Yeah.
too, because like they took the fucking motor out.
Right.
So obviously the weight's
And then
different.
do you remember the C6 rumors? Like, oh, you can't open the door if it's on a lift. Any of that? Apparently early on, like if the window was up and you opened the door while it was on a lift, it would shatter the window.
Oh really? Because it was
Apparently.
like slightly tweaked.
Yeah,
or
because
something?
like the frames are so stiff that
Yep.
it would put some tension on it and break a window. Apparently,
Really.
that's what I was
Such
always
weird
told.
things.
Yeah.
How, as an auto manufacturer, are you supposed to predict that when you're designing a car?
Right.
Right? Because there's so many things that can just go wrong.
Well, I mean, your car's it's gonna go on a lift every once in a while.
Right.
You know?
And like, so what year is your Lincoln?
2007.
Okay, so like the O2s where you had to like pull the fuse before you lifted it.
Oh yeah, mine has like a shut off in the trunk,
Okay.
which I don't even do anyway when I put it on a lift. It's a $2,000 car. I put it up there.
Yeah, like back then on the old ones, you'd lift it and then set it down and it would blow the bags out of it.
Oh really?
As soon as you put the weight back down on it, because it goes up and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I need to stiffen, and then you lower it and it would blow the bags out of it.
Oh really?
Yeah, like,
Maybe I should be looking.
At the time, it was like $3,000 in damage.
Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah, no thanks.
that's rowdy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Are your lifts asymmetrical or the symmetrical
I do
ones?
symmetrical.
Okay.
So I want an arm up front and an arm in the back instead of both coming back. I
Yep.
have one lift where they both come back.
So mine's an asymmetrical one, and it makes
Okay.
me nervous as shit because technically the vehicle is supposed to be back a little bit from
Right.
the arms, right?
Yep. Those
But-
are nice for getting the doors open.
Yep.
But that's really about it.
Yeah.
I don't like them for super low cars because then you have to swing that arm under the entire car.
Yep.
Low cars, you can't do that.
No, I have that problem too. So usually I have to drive up on 2x6s or
Yep.
something, and then I lift the car up that
Yep,
way.
Exactly.
And then I did for a full year. I was working on cars without the tall jack stands, and I'm
Okay.
sitting wrenching on shit, and the whole thing's rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
like the spin jacks.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they're $30 or something for a set on
Yeah.
Amazon. I'm like, I'm just gonna buy these, and it's been a world of difference. It makes
Right.
me peace of mind anyway.
Yeah. Like anytime I'm like, if I have like a diesel truck on the lift,
Yep.
like I'll put a spin jack under the front of it just to be safe.
Yeah, I do. My wife's Excursion and my truck go on a lift every now and again. So the Excursions
Excursions are huge.
Yeah, it's a marvel to see it go up on the lift.
Is it gas or?
No, she's
Diesel?
7.3, man. The big heavy pig.
Man.
Yeah.
My dad had brand new Excursions like every year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they would like drive them to the house and be like, "Here's the new one." And it would just not leave.
Wow. I wish they'd bring that thing back.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
You get
They-
$100,000, you can have somebody build you one.
Yeah, it's probably 100 plus the car
Yeah. they buy like a single cab.
donor.
Yeah, like the 1516 is the Super Duties I like. Before
Okay.
they were Luma Duties
Yeah.
and the emissions weren't as cranked up. But
Yep. Yeah, I had a 16. I went to Florida to have my cage put in my car, and I had a 97 single cab long box 7.3, beautiful truck, zero rust. And this was pre-COVID, and I listed it for like $15,000. And at that time, that was crazy numbers.
Yeah.
And a dude in Kentucky was like, "Hey, I'll take it." I was like, "Well, you're in Kentucky. Like, how can I make this work?" So when I was Motorworks is owned by Penske. So I was like, I'll rent a Penske truck because you can get a Penske truck anywhere to put my trailer back on to get home. And we go to pick up the Penske truck, and it's got a 2-inch ball. And I was like, hey, I need a 2 5/16 or whatever the hell it is. And yeah, so it wouldn't work. So I call the guy. I'm like, hey, I'm heading to the Ford dealership right now to see if there's any trucks, because I'm not losing this.
Yep.
You know, I paid like $9,000 for that truck. It's like, I'm going to make a bunch of money. And this is like early on when I was young. So yeah, we went to the closest Ford dealership, and I was like, I need a truck like now. And the lady's like, are you going to buy it today? And I was like, yeah, this truck is sold. I need something.
Yeah.
And she clocked back in and took me over to her other store, and they had a gray F350 holdover 2016.
Nice.
You know, and the 17s had just came out.
Yep.
Because I was like, I don't want to spend like $65,000. That's insane. And she's like, oh, I got this one. It's like, is it gray? Yeah. Black interior? Yeah. I'll take it. So yeah, I didn't even look at it until after I owned it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, if it's magnetic gray and black interior, I'll take it. So.
And then you went from that 7.3 to the 6.7, and
Yeah,
you
so
were
then-
like, oh, man.
So then I drive. Yeah, so I'm driving this brand new truck, and my girlfriend at the time was driving the 7.3, and we had to go like 2 hours to meet this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And we pull up with the two trucks, and he's like, "What is that?" It's like, "Well, I sold you this one, and we got to get home, you know." So kind of funny.
What about the Corvettes? I thought I saw something about a twin turbo Corvette at your shop.
We do a bunch of C8s.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that like your specialty, or what's going on with that?
No, just we've done 6 of them now.
Okay.
I believe 6. Everyone that we've done was pre-ECU unlock,
Okay.
so none of them were tuned, which is why this one that I have at the shop is getting an engine.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a non-intercooled kit. I told him, I was like, if you're gonna floor it, count to 7 in your head and let off. You know, you don't want high intake temps. And he called me on a Sunday, and he's like, yeah, I was just cruising like 100, and it spit the dipstick out of it, and there's oil everywhere. I'm like, oh, you broke something.
Yeah.
And I plugged into it on the scan tool, and it set the check engine light at 192 miles an hour. Yeah, intake temps at 340. You know, because it logs everything.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that's where it maxed the sensor out. So it probably saw 500 degrees. I'm guessing it melted a piston. I'll know shortly here.
Yeah.
That's
Just
crazy.
daily,
Yeah.
just cruising.
Yeah,
no
so then
big
I
deal.
call him. I'm
Yeah.
like, 100 miles an hour, huh? He's like, well, that's where I started. like, come on, dude. Go
Right.
easy on me.
You're
But,
not
like,
you're not gonna get away with that shit nowadays, right? And then
But like, prime example, he's a great customer.
Yeah.
So like, he had, as soon as I called him out on it, he's like, oh, I didn't know you'd see that. You
Yeah.
know, just funny.
what helps you diagnose too, right? That's like going to your doctor and being like, hey, I have this problem, but then you don't tell them the fact that your
Yeah.
guts have been killing you for 3 days. They're like, oh yeah, you
Exactly.
could have this.
So like when I was at Motorworks, we'd have 335s, you know, M3s coming in all the time. Is it tuned? No. You sure it's not tuned? Okay. Then we'd plug into it, and BMW would flag the car for having software in it, void the warranty immediately. It's like, had you told me this, we could have loaded it back to stock. I could have done my work, and you'd have your car back, you know?
Yep.
Now you just lost your warranty, and if anything happens, you're screwed.
So you're saying if you have a hookup at a dealership, it's better to be honest, and they might be able to help
Be
you.
honest. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like, I had one kid message me when I was at the dealership as well. And he's like, hey, the engine's knocking. And I was like, okay, is there anything done to it? Yeah, tune and downpipe. I was like, take the downpipe off, load it back to stock. And they brought it in with no downpipe on it. They just took the downpipe off. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know? And yeah, so they ended up kicking it. It's like, dude, I didn't think I had to spoon feed that to you.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
right.
So,
That's hilarious.
yeah, sometimes you got to be blunt.
Well, sometimes even if you load it back to stock, they can see that there hasn't been enough key cycles or
That Ford, early Fords were doing like flash counts. So you could see
Yep.
how many times, like on my car, it was like 200 and something when I was on stock ECU.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I met Jarrett, was when my car needed a PCM, and then I went to Ford because they would do performance stuff because I had the turbo kit on it. And I had scoped it myself, and you could see the ignition failing on it. And yeah, he put an ECU in it and fixed everything.
Oh.
But yeah, that initial ECU had like 200 and something flashes on it. It's like, well, flashing it's not going to take out a coil driver, you know?
Right.
So just because this question just keeps lingering in the back of my head. So those Corvettes, they have to stay on the stock ECU then? Or like, does that work?
So initially, Fuel Tech and Motec had piggybacks for them.
Okay.
Now you can tune them with the
Yeah,
stock
yeah.
ECU.
But for the 6 that you did before, what was kind of like the
Bolt it on and go.
really
The
just hope for the
stock
best?
ECU will learn up to 8 pounds of boost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you they have you do like these driving cycles. Every kit that I've done is an ETS kit. And it, they say go drive it, half throttle, 3/4 throttle, just let it learn.
Yep.
They work great until they don't.
Yeah. So what exactly kind of causes that problem of it melting down?
Heat.
Heat.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
it just can't manage it or something.
It's $20,000 for the turbo kit. It's
Yep.
$27,000 if you want an intercooled kit.
Mm-hmm.
So no one does the intercooled kit. And at the time you couldn't tune them anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to be running a bunch of boost. But now it's kind of sky's the limit.
Yeah, but if
Were
you were
they
full
having
sending it,
issues with their engines anyway, even without doing that?
I've heard of some.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite
more
a
so does Z06.
Is that
Was
what it
it?
is?
Okay.
The Z06 was the one that, again, here's the problem with these, these big media companies in the car scene. I wonder, or not car scene, but like in the car world, I wonder if some of them are getting paid off to just kind of push certain stories. Like, for example, what's in the media right now? 1 million articles about the Cybertruck rusting.
Yeah.
And it seems like like they're
We're
working
not
together.
talking about Taylor Swift anymore?
Who?
That was last week.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But like, I'm saying more so for like the car world in general,
Yep.
not your Fox 9s, but or your CNNs. But like, when the Corvette once one grenaded, apparently all the companies were on it.
Right.
All the car journalists were.
Did you guys see all the Whipple stuff for like a month there?
Yeah, because I'm in the GT500 world,
Yeah.
so they were
That's like where it was mainly
this will
happening.
fuck your GT500.
Yeah, they're like, do not let every Whipple, well, not every Whipple, but it seemed like every Whipple was grenading, taking out engines, ruining everything.
Well, I saw some of that aftermath though. That when I started seeing pictures, I thought so. I had an engine failure once, and after seeing what I saw them when they lifted it off and the parts of metals where it was, I was like, wow, that looked just like, I feel like I might have had a Whipple failure at one point in time too,
Right.
but I thought it might have been something else.
Oh.
But again, that's part of that whole, you can't really, because I took the car in after that and I went rebuild and I took my supercharger down to John Bond, who's like a supercharger guru in northern Iowa. And he's like, yeah, I need to do bearings and need to do all this. I was like, how can that even be? I've had it on my car for maybe 10,000 miles.
Right.
I chipped the corner off a piston. So I'm like, I don't think all of that went into the supercharger and fucked the bearings.
Right.
So I don't know. What can you do? They're not a small name in the supercharger game.
Exactly.
So
yeah, and then VMP just joined Whipple.
I know, I
or
saw
they
that. I watched
paired-
that video.
Yeah. That's exciting because Turn 14 sells VMP.
Yeah.
So now I can get a hookup on Whipples.
Sweet.
sick.
Whipples with a VMP logo on it.
I think that was because they have this 2024 thing on lock, Whipple, and now they've got this
It's
partnership
great
with
for
Ford.
VMP.
Yes.
You know.
Yep.
I'm surprised that they're kind of letting them do their own spin-off of it.
I was shocked at that partnership, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Justin Starkey, I believe. We were with him at PRI.
Yeah.
Justin Young, do you know him? Mod Motor Mustangs?
I don't. I know. I have a friend of mine that's part of that Mod Motor Mustangs. So,
Got it. Yeah, Justin Young runs it. And the nice thing with him at PRI is, he knows everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, the people that I've met through him have been fantastic. But that's how PRI works.
I'm gonna blame the listener not knowing, but who?
Justin Young,
Yeah.
he owns Mod Motor Mustangs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Just
Yeah, not
make sure I
famous or anything, but in the Mustang world, he's
Yeah.
popular.
Dude, you know what? You're kind of keeping a hot streak here for the Ford guys. I'm telling you, the Ford guy podcasts are always my favorite.
It's great, right? Yeah.
Seriously, it's ridiculous. I don't know what it is.
That's why I brought that up in the beginning, right? Because I was like, this is going to be great. So I said,
Which is why we need to get some more Chevy people in here to really settle the score.
Reach out if you're a Chevy fan. Come on now.
Right?
Let's show it.
Have you guys had Aaron on Nth Moto?
No, I reached out to him, but he's probably busy right
He's
now.
a busy guy.
Well, dude, I think they're 2 years out for builds.
Sounds
I
about right.
think because who in the world? Here's the deal: when you have world records for 3 of the 5 generations of
Right.
Vipers, you're gonna be busy.
Exactly.
And you know what?
And he puts out a good product.
He puts out an amazing product. Having been in those cars, or a car, I guess I haven't been in all of them, which would be cool to go out. You know what I'd love to do? I'd love to get a ride in the 6-speed ones.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
So early on, I rode in Mud Truck when it was
Yeah.
6-speed, and that was a riot.
Yeah.
And then we were racing
car's for
Will's
sale,
silver
too.
car at the time. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Philip doesn't own it anymore. I believe it's at a lot now.
Yeah, I forgot.
Like Cosmo Motors or something equivalent to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember the dealership off the top of my
Like 300
name.
grand though, right?
250.
250. Okay.
Dude, for that car, I think it's listed with 2,600 horsepower.
Right.
That car's a steal at that price
I think
point.
Phillips had it listed for like 350 or close to 400 initially.
Well, I think there was another white one that was sold too. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I think you might be right. But either way,
I think
I might be getting builds confused too.
right. Probably a Calvo car that you saw, because like
I don't get the Calvo cars confused. That's for sure.
well, right. But like every nth moto car that sells is like under the table. It seems, it's never posted for sale.
95% of the time.
Yeah, like
But,
Phil's car is the first one I've seen posted for sale.
yeah, because the thing is all the customers from Nth Motor are happy.
Right.
Like, it's ridiculous because they put out an amazing product.
Right.
Like, they keep their cars forever, or it goes to another potential customer.
Exactly.
Or somebody that wants a second one.
Right. Yeah, like what was his name? Will? Not Will. Will's in Texas. Rich in Chicago. He had that gray Gen 5. Like that car went to 458 Destroyer. That's in
Was
his
that the car that went there?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and so 458 has been posting on Instagram for months now. He's got like the Voodoo 2 or whatever. When you get into the super niche specs, I'm not sure.
Right.
But like a crazy spec Viper
Any
that
idea
it's
what
going to
he
get sent
does?
up. I don't know. I could speculate. I want to say he owned a tech company.
Okay.
But I take that with an absolute grain of salt.
Right. So no one knows who he is. No one knows his name. It's all very locked down. And when Aaron did that deal with Rich and him, Aaron tagged him on Facebook. And I saw it and like...
It was gone.
like when you like pull up Instagram and it's like...
Don't disclose anything now. Careful.
Right. And it's like, something from 4 hours ago, but it's like something really good. And then like you go to scroll up and it refreshes your feed. And it's
I
gone.
saw that meme today too.
Yeah. It was like that. It's like, oh, I wish I knew what the guy's name was.
Dude, that's the worst. Yeah, somebody posted a meme about that today on Instagram, and it's like, yeah, you just open it for a split second, and it's like, oh, I actually want to check this out. Gone.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck? But no, those cars are something, man. It's
and
just
Aaron's the best.
Yeah.
I've called him. So that car that they were putting 5 people in, I called Aaron. I was like, what do you do when you build a car for someone and it breaks every time they drive it? Is it my fault? Is it their fault?
Yeah.
And I told him the scenario after I found out there's 5 people in it. And he's like, yeah, that needs a turbo 400 or a billet 6-speed, like a 6XD. He's like, the T50, because Vipers come with T56s. He's like, it won't take the power at all, especially the weight.
Oh, wow.
So apparently it's the weight that kills the Viper trans.
interesting.
The Vipers are heavy.
Yeah, especially when you start throwing a cage in them and all that.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially like Adam's cage. That thing's beautiful.
Dude, those
Very well done.
Yeah.
Like my cage in my car is very nice. Like you can't fit a credit card between panels, but his is super hidden and it's nice.
Tell you, man, there's something to be said for quality. But yeah, no, I mean, we'll see what happens after Texas 2K. I'm not in a, basically certain guests that we have on this podcast, it comes down to when works for you, right? Because we have a lot of shop owners on,
Right.
At the end of the day, you guys got your own bills to pay and
Right.
builds to finish and customers to take care of. So with Texas 2K, literally in 2-3 weeks,
Right.
if he
It's
does,
crunch time for a lot.
I'd be
of people.
surprised if I even get a text back from him for the next 4 months.
Is Rat bringing cars down, or are they just spectating?
I don't.
or-
They said they were.
I think no. I think a few of their customers might go down, but I don't think they're officially going.
Yeah, I know. I think Becca's gone.
Yeah, that's right. I've been messaging her. I'm gonna get them on the
Yeah, I was gonna
podcast
say,
at
you
some
should
point.
have them on. They're super nice.
They're up in your neck of the woods, right?
They are South Dakota.
South Dakota. See,
Yeah. Sioux Falls. I
same
believe.
Yeah. Which seems like they should be close, but
Yeah, it's 3 hours.
You hop on I-29, you set the cruise, go to sleep.
Well, that's
and
just it. You can set
yeah.
cruise at 90. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's as soon as you hit South Dakota, it's 80 miles an hour the whole
I'm
way.
considering moving to South or North Dakota. That's
North Dakota's awesome. South Dakota's warmer
yeah.
and less wind.
No, I've done some jobs in Grand Rapids.
Okay.
And oh my god, I used to do satellites, and so I'm on the roof. It's January. The wind is 80 miles an hour, and it's 1,400 below.
Yeah,
and there's
no
a little bit of snow in the air. It's oh my
My
god.
first year in Fargo. So I moved there in October Like, so just going into winter, I about fist fought every door I touched trying to get a door open with the wind.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Once you get past St. Cloud, it's just like desert.
Right.
The wind is nonstop.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I used to come back and like my first year of business, I was down and back like every weekend. And then like now that we have our clientele up there, it's like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not making that drive in the winter anymore. 2 cars on the trailer in an ice storm. You know, it's like, this is
sketchy.
Not good.
So. Dude, you know, I kind of like this little area of Minnesota though, right? Because like whenever I come back from Texas, going through Iowa or, you know, the Dakotas, right? I don't know what it is. Like, it's just, yes, we might get more snow up here or something time to time, but I feel like the climate's just a little nicer, like a little more tolerable. Because like you get those winds. Like in Iowa, I could not even open a door.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I like Omaha a lot.
Okay.
Omaha's super nice. Have you guys been to I-29, like ice cream cruise or anything like that?
No, I've been following that one. I've been wanting to
ice
go
cream
try
cruise
it.
is fun. You guys should do that. But it's like right on the border of Omaha. Beautiful area. And there's cars everywhere. It's very big car scene.
What's the Iowa city that's right in that area too?
Sioux City.
Sioux City, yeah. I like that. It's a cool little town too.
Very cool with the river running through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they have like a Hard Rock hotel and stuff downtown.
Yeah, it's a nice.
Every time
it's
we
like
drive
in the middle,
by, it's like,
you don't even.
we should stay the night, and then it's like, I'm not staying here. You know.
Yeah, just finish the drive.
We're only an hour away from where we need to be. I'm not stopping.
And we just put a bunch of quick trips into Sioux Falls area there.
Apparently,
so,
there's some coming.
Yeah,
Fargo.
you're getting some.
Yeah.
I can send you the dates of when you're getting what and what's open if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quick Trip rocks.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for Buc-ee's to come in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's getting closer.
Buc-ee's is odd. Buc-ee's is.
Yeah.
I wonder if the employees are going to be as nice though.
I doubt it.
I'm so doubtful because that's the thing. Like once you start getting, you know, a certain longitudinal, latitudinal.
If they're getting their employees from Madison or Beloit, they're fucked.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hopefully they're pulling from like the Hudson side. You know?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be because like whenever you go down south to a Buc-ee's, they're the kindest people.
Have you been to a Buc-ee's during TX2K?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wild.
Dude.
Fascinating.
Well, I'm in some of the group chats in preparation for TX2K. And it's like some people are asking like, where's everything gonna be? And like everybody's just like, go to the nearest Buc-ee's near the track. You go from there.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wild year, man. I talked to some
year's
locals.
Gonna be interesting with it being in Dallas.
Yeah, I talked to some locals down there, and they said it's hotter than Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently it's not as good of a loop system or something. I don't know.
It's very congested.
Really? Okay.
Like super congested. In Dallas is terrible. It took us, the track was like 18 miles from where we stayed, and it took us like an hour and 15 minutes to get there.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Do you have any fun Texas 2K stories? Have you been?
I've been twice.
Okay.
Twice. First time was, I wanted to go really bad. My buddy Nick Whitey, I don't know if you guys know him. He's got a single cab short box Chevy. And it's been through a bunch of different stages, but at the time it was turbo auto, and like at 20 pounds it would spit a rod like immediately. And we're down, so I call him, I'm like, hey, do you want to go to TX2K? I'll drive, I'll get the hotel, but we need a car, can we bring your truck? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So we load that up like 3 days before, go down, and night one we're racing Mustangs and Vets, and we're kicking ass, and I'm looking at his boost gauge, and it's like 19, 20, 21, 19, 20, 21. And I'm like, hey, when does this thing usually break? He's like, oh, 20 pounds, it's done. Like, turn this thing down. It's night number one, God. Like, gonna ruin our trip,
Yeah.
But no, it lasted all weekend long, and then he came back up here, and he took a guy for a ride, and he blew it up because the cold weather up here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I made like an extra 2 pounds of boost.
I'm a little nervous for Caleb. He's on a fresh build, isn't he, too? He's like barely had any. He said he was going to go out and try and make some hits.
I'm surprised he didn't send our text to the group chat. I'll give you some updates.
Okay.
Let's just say it's TX2K crunch time.
Right.
You know how it goes.
Yeah. I was going to move the GT500 into the shop today, and I didn't get around to it.
Are you bringing that?
Yeah.
Cool.
I have a bunch of stuff I bought from VMP over Black Friday.
Yeah.
I'm so scared of.
Like heat exchanger stuff, or?
I did the race core, the lid.
Okay.
You
did the billet lid?
Yeah.
Nice.
So a bunch of, no, not the billet lid. I did the one that's the gray that is same color as the other one. I wanted I'm a big like have it look stock. Like
Yeah.
even if I do a build on it, I'll do a Joker's
Right.
ported blower, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I did on that most recent one.
Yeah, but I'm so scared. That's such a like that was already a big deal for me, that car, and
Right.
with the drivetrain being a $35,000 drivetrain, I'm like,
Yeah.
God, it scares the shit out of me. I've already blown a couple cars up, and I'm
Exactly.
like, damn it. So
Yeah,
it's when I go to Texas 2K, it's gonna stay stock. I might throw my cold air intake on it and just
Yeah.
go down, but I'm concentrating on cooling mods first, and
Yeah.
then I'll start turning
Heat
it up.
exchanger and intercooler goes a long way with them.
Yep.
That one that I just did, we did a 7-gallon trunk tank.
Okay.
It sucks.
I did the VMP tank. Well, what I didn't realize is, so I was like, cool, I'm gonna get an ice tank. I didn't know that the coolant flowed through the tank. So like the ice gets
Pretty much like a swirl pond.
right, but
almost.
then when the ice melts, it goes into your stuff.
Right.
I thought that it was like you put ice in it and it had like a radiator, right? And the shit went through there and the ice kept it cool, so your system still stayed sealed.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to do all this. That means I'm definitely flushing all of that out and
Yeah.
making
Yeah,
sure
you're
that I get
constantly
antifreeze.
changing it.
Yeah.
Because it
So-
gets full, gets low, gets.
So I have the VMP under the hood one. I'm thinking I'm not gonna go do major hits with it. I like to do road track stuff, so like that's gonna be. And I thought I'm just gonna freeze some of those like water bottles, and then maybe I'll just chuck
Yeah.
them in the thing, and
Yeah.
that way if I'm going out and doing a couple man, I can't talk sessions.
He's getting excited.
Yeah. Anyway, if
Summer's
I go to
coming.
some runs, whatever, I would just throw a few of those in, and maybe that would cool it. But I
Yeah.
think just the larger capacity. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do a bigger heat exchanger, all that kind of stuff. I think will help anyway.
Yeah. On the carbon fiber, when you do your heat exchanger, you have to pull. There's a panel. There's like a little guard.
Okay.
We could not get his in, and then it was Palm Beach Dyno's new.
That's the one I've been looking at.
It's big,
Is it?
and it won't fit unless you pull this little panel out. And like the car that I was working on had 110 miles, carbon fiber track pack, heritage blue,
Yep.
like the ideal car. So it's like I'm trying not to do anything wrong on this thing, and it's like, man, it won't go. And I called Ken, and he's like, yeah, you got to pull that panel out. So remember that.
Okay.
I got a little
Well,
dizzy when you said it's big, it won't fit. What'd you say?
Right, the intercooler, it's like twice the size of the stock one, or the heat exchanger.
Yeah. Sponsored by Blue No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm moving up to all 1-inch lines, all that
Nice.
stuff.
Yeah, we did
So-
3/4 on his,
Okay.
but we did a tank.
And then I'm also adding. So I'm doing the tank in the there. I haven't bought the heat exchanger yet, so I'm gonna do that. And then I also have the added the Whipple pump.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do 2 pumps.
Nice.
Just keep that flowing good.
Yeah. You're doing an underhood tank?
Yes.
Got it.
That's because I didn't want to do all that shit to the rear
It's,
and.
the amount of lines because we did a full fuel system plus the water lines, like trying to fit, because I try to hide everything under those black panels.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The whole underneath of that car is plastic.
Yeah.
So it's.
Yeah. I got it all in there. I had to cut a little bit, but it looks really good, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah. I'm cool with it just being under there. And again,
Right.
I don't have like a 2,000 horsepower like goal for this
Right.
thing. If I could get 4 figures, that'd be cool. I'm gonna
Right.
really ease my way up into
Are you
that
doing
one.
a fuel system?
I wasn't going to right away anyway.
Right.
Is that will you guys just swap out for a 4? Or is it already
Yeah, 4 system.
okay? That's what I have in my orange car now, and I
Okay.
like it.
Yeah, 4 is the best.
I do not like. What's nice about the GT500 is I don't know how they do the pickup, but you can run that thing down to almost no gas.
Yeah.
And they'll still get and go pretty
Yep.
quick. My orange car, once it gets under like quarter tank, if I go to hit it, it'll go. Oh, I'm like, oh
Really?
shit, yeah, time to get gas.
So like I was so shocked when my car was stock ECU turbo. I had just done a fuel system in it, and my gauge was showing like half a tank. I'd get after it, and the car would like pop and shut off. Like it wouldn't shut off, but it would go into limp mode.
Yep.
Pull over, restart it, turn it on, runs great. It's like, what was that? It was the stock ECU noticing that I was running out of fuel and shutting the car down.
Oh really?
So stock Ford ECU saving an engine.
Okay.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So my fuel level hanger was hanging up on the crossover.
Ah.
So I thought I had a half tank and it was empty, and I'm trying to make hits.
That is. It's like hitting what it was happening to me is it's like when you get like the traction control.
Yeah.
You know, it like because to pull power from the engine
Yeah.
there a little bit. Yeah. So that's exactly what was going on. In mine.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I just make sure I keep her full.
Exactly. Anything over a half. I keep
Yeah.
mine full like as much as I can.
Well, I try to, but when I first learned that lesson, it also one of my first times on a track was I guess I didn't realize that I can drive almost all day in my car or go for 3-4 hours and it's no big deal. Even playing around a little bit, I can
Right.
stop and get gas. When you're on the track, that's not how that works. I was
Right.
going around, I did like 3 or 4 laps. I'm going along. It's been like maybe a few hours of me racing, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what the hell? And I looked down, I had no gas. I'm
Right.
like, oh shit. Yeah, maybe. I might
yeah,
be
like I
burning
said,
a
at
little more.
Power Cruise, we went through like 6 tanks of fuel.
Really?
Yeah, it was insane.
I would do
And
that.
it was totally stock.
Road America, 30-minute session, full tank of gas all the way down to
Really?
E. Yep.
Wow.
When I be pulling off, when they hit the flag and I pull off, the fuel light comes on.
Yeah.
And then I look and it's
I suppose a road course, you're getting after it.
well, Road
constantly.
America especially.
Right.
There's those long straights, things
Yeah.
like that, where
Yeah.
you're pedal. I mean, the floor. It's to the floor.
It's a
Right,
fast
like a-
track.
yeah.
Power Cruise, you get to floor it twice per
Yeah.
lap. So, yeah, you
Yeah.
guys should go to that. It's a
I'm
really
gonna
good time.
I'm gonna go home tonight and look
We
up.
did last year. I rented a RV. I drove that. My fiance drove our X3, and then it was like $800, and then you had to pay for fuel, and it was like an 80-gallon tank, so it was like $1,000. Pleasureland in Brainerd for $1,000. They will go put a camper on your lot that you rent.
Oh, really?
And you show up to it and leave.
Wow.
So I'm doing that this year.
Okay.
Yeah. Then
That's
you don't
cool.
have to drive the camper all the way out there.
Well, I bought a pickup truck camper this year that I
Okay.
want to kind of like deck out
Yeah.
for the back of my truck, and I can pull my 28-foot race trailer.
Nice.
I don't know. I want to do some traveling and do some stuff like that. So I've been playing around with rigs and stuff.
Right.
What I want is not one of those crazy fucking diesel trucks, but why can't they take like those Class C campers?
Yeah.
Right, that they're not crazy big, like maybe a 32-footer.
Right.
That already are on that Super Duty chassis.
Why can't they put a 6.7?
Exact-
You know, it's all gas.
99% of them have that 6.2 in them.
Yeah.
And,
Or a V10.
or the V10.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just have my freaking Power Stroke in this son of a
Right.
bitch? It should be super easy.
Right. Yeah,
But-
that one we rented was a V10. And it's like I'm driving, watching the gas gauge go down.
It's horrible.
On an 80-gallon tank.
And then you want to tow a car trailer behind that, and that's
Exactly.
gonna
Yeah.
just kill
no
it.
way. No way.
No. So that's what I'm on the hunt for. It's kind of a unicorn and I want one from like, 2015. I went to PRI. I looked at those ones that are
Yeah.
100, 200 grand.
Yeah.
I'm not
With
that
no
cool.
options.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get you a Cybertruck. It's fine.
Right.
Oh, fuck. I've
That
seen a
toters and
couple of them
everything
in
are
the
so
live now.
expensive.
Screw that thing. That rusty piece of shit.
Careful. You remember last time what happened when we had a
yeah,
Ford?
that's right.
There's one in Fargo, and I guess the guy works for Tesla, and he's like testing the climate up there.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Okay.
Apparently,
You're usually supposed to test before you launch it. Like
like-
Rivian.
right.
We remember seeing trucks up here in Minnesota. They test them in northern Minnesota.
My buddy Larry's an engineer for Rivian,
Yeah.
a kid I went to high school with.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's why they don't have any issues, I'm guessing.
right. Rivians are great. I like them a lot.
They're all right. They've grown on me.
yeah,
Yeah,
I like the
okay.
headlights.
Oh, that's the
think
part I
the-
don't like.
No,
Yeah, I don't like that round headlight thing.
You know, like that looks like a pig nose.
No, my wife likes
it's
them, but
distinct. It's distinct.
it is. I understand it's kind of a neat deal,
Yeah.
but
Speaking of distinguishable, fuck all of these different companies making their headlights look just like the cop lights.
Yeah.
Because the Explorers or whatever, they have like the yellow on top, and now like everybody else is starting to do that.
Everything.
And I'm just sitting here looking like squinting, especially in the dark. I'm like, huh? And I got tin, and it's like,
Right.
yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've never had a Fuzzbuster or anything like that. I need to
oh,
get
they're
one.
amazing.
I know.
Mine has paid for itself through and through.
Like anytime I get in a customer car and they have one, it's like, okay, sweet.
Yeah.
No, this is awesome.
You got to pony up like $400 to get a nice one,
Right.
But I guarantee you it pays for itself.
Right. The guy with the C8 that's blown up, he
Mm-hmm.
has like the Valentine red or black or whatever. It's
Yep.
like $700. But
Yeah,
he's like,
okay.
it will catch anything. So apparently it'll even do like plane and
Oh,
helicopter.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine will tell me like
Supposedly.
where all the red light cameras are, and all that stuff too.
Nice.
Um,
Do they do that here? Red
no,
light cameras?
there's one certain city in Iowa that I roll through that I've
Got
gotten
it.
some tickets on.
God, that's stupid city.
In Chicago, they were always out there.
Yeah,
when I
yep.
lived out there.
Yeah,
Red light
it's the
cameras suck.
best thing after rallies. By the way, is when people are coming back and they pass through Iowa, and then the speed cameras get them.
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Oh, this is expensed by the rally, right?" I'm like, "No."
I've heard that technically it's not a police sanctioned thing. It's actually a third party company that does it.
Really?
Yeah. So I've heard that if you just call them and say, "Hey, this wasn't me,"
Right.
fucking prove it.
Yeah.
They just go, "Oh well, I guess this guy smarted up." Yeah.
I mean, if anybody wants to try that, let me know.
Yeah.
Right. I went to UTI in Chicago, and a guy that I knew had graduated like 5 years prior, and he was, I don't know if it was true because I know that they like take, every 10 people that don't pay the tolls, they let most of them through. Mm-hmm. But he was like, yeah, if you do 130 under the, like through the toll, he's like, the camera can't catch it. You're too far out.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I think there was a Mythbusters episode. Or no, it wasn't Mythbusters. I think or it might have been. I think somebody recently did a video on this.
Okay.
I can't remember what the cutoff is, but I think nowadays the newer cameras are so fast anyway.
Well, wouldn't it be funny if like they could tell your distance? Like the average car is right
took
here.
a picture here and
You're
here.
way up here,
Yeah.
so you were doing X amount of miles an hour.
So now you have to pay
Now
toll
you have a
and you got a
speeding
ticket.
ticket too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't remember. One of my friends down in Chicago, actually, I think he was passing, hopefully I get the story correct, but he was passing through Indy. And I remember they were on one side of the state to the next side of the state. So you got pulled over on the bottom half of Indiana. And he got pulled over again towards the top half, and they compared the times on the tickets.
Really?
Whoa.
And they were like, there's no fucking way you're going the speed limit.
God.
Yeah, because I think they were going like 90 or 100 the whole way, like through the
Wow.
state. Yeah.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah, I should hit him up about that story. That's one of the people I want to have back on or have on the podcast when I go down to Chicago. He had like this 700-800 horsepower V. I was on corn. It was a crazy sounding car. It was one of my favorite sounding cars up until that point. Just crazy.
I've been like, I don't know, your systems must be off. I don't think I should get either ticket.
So I was in
it ain't
Florida.
daylight savings, motherfucker.
I had brought my car to Florida to dyno it. My tuner was down there at the time. This is when it made 1475 or something on his dyno. And it's like, cool, I'm in Florida. I'm going to go drive my car around. Mm-hmm. And I got on the highway and I'm like Facebook Live, like, oh, driving my car. All you guys are stuck in the winter. And everyone's like, make a hit. I'm like, okay. And I like do a U-turn. I get off on an exit, do a U-turn, get back on the highway. And I was following this black Explorer like onto the highway. And my brother comments and he's like, that's a cop in front of you. And so I sped up and like made eye contact with the two dudes in the car, and they were like in polos. They had a custom Tampa Bay plate. I'm like, this isn't a cop. Yeah. So I slowed down to like 30 and made a hit past them. They clocked me at 165, flying past them. So immediately after I slow down, I'm cruising 65 again. And yeah, he comes up, lights me up. I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to jail. I'm dead. And so I pull over. By the time I pull over, they were behind me and two other cops blocked me. So then they walk up to me and they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't have an answer. This is stupid. And I had my gun on me. Uh-huh. And I paid for all the Florida permit stuff, but I don't know what happened. And yeah, so I had a legal gun on me. Long story short, I got a bunch of warnings. But yeah, it was scary. Terrifying. I thought my life was over.
Oh man.
Well, especially like if they had a custom plate, because usually the plates say police or something, right?
Exactly. Dude, they had the Tampa Bay flag, like the football team.
Yeah. Have like you said, the polos or whatever. It's like two dudes.
Yeah.
The computer's usually a giveaway,
right.
but it's like
there was none of that.
Can you imagine what they were thinking?
Well, that's what he's like. We thought that you were gonna keep going. I was like, no, this thing would explode if I maintained 180 or whatever the hell. But yeah, as soon as I saw the lights, it was like, my life is over.
Yeah. Well, it's like, especially if it's an area you don't know, it's like running isn't even an option.
Right.
Like, around here, I could get away.
Right.
I have. But it's like, yeah, in Florida, I would never chance it. Like, you just, yeah.
They had, like I said, they had two other squads there before I was even pulled over.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Do you have one or two parachutes?
One.
You have one currently? Yeah. How much does the car weigh?
3450 with me in it.
Because I think you have to start getting two parachutes at 4,000 pounds
or 200 miles an hour.
Is it either or both?
I know for sure 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about weight.
Yeah.
A lot of the chutes are weight based.
Yeah.
So like a 430 is for a heavy car. Like a 410 is for like an Evo.
Mm.
So there's different sizes, but once you get up to 200, you need dual.
What does the 430 mean? Is it like
I really don't
is it
know.
four
It's just-
dots?
it's like a
number,
sizing.
probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like stand. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
makes
Like
sense.
their small ones are 410s, 420s, 430s. I don't know if they go bigger than that.
Okay. Is it kind of like how like cages are like, you know, like a 650, 850 cage, sort of
Similar.
like
yeah,
classing?
25.3, 25.5.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
What's a shoot cost? Just out of curiosity, I've never even.
500, I
Okay.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know the GM at Stroud, and he sent me a brand. So when mine got wrapped up on the car, it got destroyed, and they sent me a brand new one.
Oh, nice.
So it's like, thanks, guys.
That's scary, dude.
Yeah.
How long did it
Dude,
take
it was
for the car to
covered the
stop?
windshield, like it was black inside the car. I was like, okay, I'm dead. You know, like,
Yeah.
And then, so another thing for people: practice getting out of your car in an emergency. I messed that up so bad. Like smoke was billowing out of under the hood because I didn't know the motor blew up, and I thought it was on fire from spinning around and whatnot. And I unbuckled, and I didn't even drop my window net. I like snaked my way out between my net and my steering wheel, which is like this much room. Got stuck, like had to go back in, drop my net, get back out. It was terrible. Practice that.
That's wild. What was the smoke from then?
Everything hitting the headers.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's scary,
It
dude.
was
Like,
bad.
well, I've been practicing in my sim rig how to get out quickly.
Yeah, there you go.
You gotta grab another Mountain Dew or something. I gotta get out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
You will never catch me drinking Mountain Dew, dude. Fuck that. I cleaned the car with Mountain Dew. That had tree sap, 10-year-old tree sap. Nothing works.
Like an
Mr.
activator.
Dude, Mr. Clean didn't work. None of the shit I got from Target, no bleach, nothing worked.
Really?
Mountain Dew cleaned that fucker right up.
That's like Coke will take rust off, won't it?
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
you
that
will.
was a Mythbusters one.
Yeah, I'm a water only guy. I'll stick with that. But no, it's funny because like I just try to see how quick I can get out. Because like, okay, so the reason like that bothers me is because I went for a ride along at SEMA with Von Ginn Jr. in the Mustang or whatever, right? And I remember I was getting in and I fucking bonked my head like with the helmet against it. And I'm like, oh my God, I know it's a race car, but I feel bad. I was like, oh man, like, is there a way that we can make this better? So I've been trying to strengthen the muscles that get me out of bucket seats. So,
Getting in and out of buckets or Kirkies or whatever is tough.
well, it's like, you know, you guys
I
are
can't
under
even get
6
out of my
foot.
fucking GT 500. Have you seen that video of that old man that like gets out of his Ford GT and he like basically rolls onto the floor of
Yeah.
his shop and then climbs up? That's me already.
Well, it's like you guys are under 6 foot. I think you're under 6 foot too, right?
Way under. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, guys, I got a lot of mass to move
Right,
around.
yeah.
Like, even though,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I'm a fairly heavy guy, but I don't look heavy, which, you know, works to my disadvantage, unfortunately, sometimes. But, like, I'm like, man, I got to get these big-ass legs out from under there.
I'm so short that we were looking at the data logs, and when I let off the trans brake, my throttle was coming back to like 70%.
Your body was sliding back.
Yeah, and my seats, like, I have these brackets in it, and they can't go forward anymore.
Yeah.
So I have a 2x4 zip tied to my gas pedal.
Are you serious? That's like on my kid's go-kart.
Yeah.
I got a 2x4 zip tied
Yeah.
to the gas pedal.
It's hilarious because I didn't tell anyone, and we got to ice cream cruise or not ice cream cruise, whatever, I-29 last year, and I opened my door to hop in, and Zach Lawrence is standing there, and he's like, "What's on your gas pedal?" And I was like, "Oh, don't!" I slammed the door. I'm like, "Don't worry about that." And he opens it and starts Snapchatting it. God damn it!
It's hilarious.
fucking
Hey,
funny.
whatever makes you win.
Right?
I can't believe that.
Short people
Phone book on
problems.
the seat. Yep.
Yeah. It's like I either got to do something with the back of the seat, but that doesn't seem safe, you know.
Yeah,
no,
true.
I do like when they brought out those adjustable pedals in a lot of the cars now
Yeah.
too. So that's great. It's my Super Duty. I can put my seat way back like I want.
Exactly, and then bring the pedals and the wheel back.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, they're
hilarious.
nice.
Any other custom mods we should know about?
Yeah, not offhand. The weight bar was the biggest help for my car. Putting weight in the back of it for no prep.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about it.
Okay.
Nitrous if you can't get it to spool.
How big of a shot you running in there?
None right now. If I have to, I'll just do like a dry shot 50,
Okay.
just
Something
to
you're not-
wick it up on the trans brake.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But then like I talked to a bunch of guys and they're like, well, once you spray it on the brake, you might as well just spray it through the whole run. Yeah, that sounds great.
You
but-
run the risk of melting the whole inside of your engine that way. Yeah.
I'm scared just to spray it on the brake, you know, have it not shut off or something.
Speak to the reliability of that build. Is there
My car?
Yeah, because like, you know, I learned about this in recently. It's like certain cars that are built for, you know, whatever, 2,000 horsepower, you can expect to get 10 full hits on them or 20 or whatever. what does your kind of build?
So,
like, what do you expect?
I would say at every level my car's been at, it's been extremely reliable for the most part. Like when I lived here, we would go out Thursday nights, Monday nights, the entire weekend. Like I'd go put 200 miles on the car in a night, roll racing, and it took everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very reliable. Me and Deanne my fiance, we were just talking about it last week, I think, and I was telling her I would hop in my car and drive to Florida, no problem. It would be loud and uncomfortable.
This,
but
Ford podcast brought to you by Coyote.
the Coyote is king. They're tough to beat.
You put sleeves in it. That's like its only real like limitation, I would say.
Like everyone giving Brett shit for having a Predator block, it's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just got a little more metal in it.
Yeah.
So then, how many, I guess, hits or runs can you probably do before you have to refresh everything?
It's kind of relevant. I change my oil once a month, no matter how much I drive it or whatever. My current engine that's in the car probably has 40 hits on it and a lot of street miles. The biggest thing that I've noticed with built Coyotes is oil pressure issues at idle, hot. So like every built engine I've had, 17 pounds of oil pressure hot at idle. It's like, shit, that's scary. Because on the first one, it was down to like 12 and it didn't have enough to feed the heads and it ate the heads up. Now I just keep my idle at like 1100 to keep some pressure in it.
Okay.
I've noticed
that's
with
really
that too.
the
Even my
only thing.
GT500, I look at it, I'm like, God, that
Cold
seems
starts
slow.
like 120.
Yeah.
You know, and it does that every time. Like my car, cold 105 to 120. As soon as it gets hot, as soon as the oil gets hot, it's like 17 to 25.
You're running a 550 in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. 2050 Schaefer's.
Okay.
So I either do that or 550 Motorcraft.
Okay.
Seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine that worked for Redline for a while.
Okay.
So I use that stuff. He's got me.
You guys
on it.
had him. Tim?
Yeah, Tim.
Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim DeCicero.
So I met him 8 years ago, 7 years ago. I built a rear end for him and then did something. And yeah, he gave me a piston.
Yeah, I got one too.
Do you?
Yeah. It was like a promotional thing he did for some. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got red line etched in the top of it.
Yeah.
And it's out of a. Who was the team that he was with?
I can't remember.
Jetty? Coletti.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
It's the Eddie that got
something
you.
Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie.
Yeah.
No, he's
He is a good dude.
Yeah, no, I met him at this is really funny. We were in the same Mustang club.
Yep.
And we sat down, went to one of these things where it's a cruise, and we went to lunch or whatever. And I sat down next to him, and he's just started chatting with me as Tim does. You know, he likes to talk. And we found out we're both from Hudson. So yeah, I hang out with him. Him and I will go down and have breakfast probably at least once or twice a month.
Dude, he's awesome. He's all like, and he's old. And he's
Yeah.
on Facebook and stuff. You know, he's
active
always, like,
on Facebook.
Yeah, he's always liking my posts and
he's
stuff.
active.
It's like,
He's been kicked out of a bunch of the Hudson groups because he also doesn't. I mean, he says what he's thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is what we're all thinking. We just don't say it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like ever since starting the business, like my trolling has deceased. Like you can't anymore.
No.
But like when I was living here, like the rumor was that my dad owned Ecolab. And like that he paid for everything, and if my car broke that like it'd be fixed the next day because it's unlimited money and all this stuff, and it was just ridiculous. But I would like ride it out. Like I was sitting in traffic one day and I had my window down in my truck, and a dude rolls up and he's like, "Nice truck," or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And then I was like, "Oh, you'd have a nice one too if your dad owned Ecolab." And he stopped. He goes, "Is your name Joe?" And I was like, "Yeah," and just roll the window up.
Yeah.
Like, God. Yeah, it was a big rumor for a long time.
Where'd the rumor start?
One of my coworkers. We were working late. It was like 8 o'clock at the dealership, and a salesman had came back. And he's like, "Oh, good to see you guys, working hard and blah, blah, blah." And trying to like belittle us a little bit. And Dimmick, the guy working next to me, was like, "Yeah, I need the money, but Joe's just here for the benefits. His dad's rich. He owns Ecolab." And I like stop what I'm doing and look over, and it's like, "What?" And he's like, "Just go with it." So like it's ever since then. That ended like 2020. When I moved, it ended.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna start this again.
Your dad
somewhere
sold the
else.
company. It wasn't worth sticking around. Yeah.
But I get snaps 3 days a week of like buddies downtown, casetas or wild games, taking pictures of the building. Like, oh, thanks, Joe's dad. Yeah, my buddy Ryan went on Wikipedia and edited the CEO or like the biggest shareholder or whatever as Joe's dad. Yeah, it was up for like 5 hours.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's hilarious. Yeah, the only rumor that I ever had about me was the first, I want to say, Land 10,000 Lakes rally. So my buddy, I had to take his GTR for the rally because he's supposed to be my driver for media, but that didn't work out. So I had to find my own driver to bring his GTR still, who was his detailer at the time.
Yeah.
So him and I just, traded positions. Once we ran out of space for me to take photos, I just drove the car. And I was familiar with the car, so I drove the fucking wheels off of it. But anyways, I got pulled over for passing on the right or whatever in a small town. Okay, we stirred up the hornet's nest. Like this. The problem with rallies, right, is if you get a lot of people who have an ego, they want to prove something. Civic boys. Listen, I love my
get there first.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and when people are trying to, like, put it this way, like if you have a 5.0 trying to compete against a Huracan,
right.
like, this guy on a rally would probably be a menace, right?
Right.
This is kind of what happens. So a lot of people stirred up the hornet's nest. Some people were passing on a shoulder or whatever. It's again, this is why I vet the people that go on my rallies, and that's why me and Balto partnered up. Whatever. Oh, this is a whole different tangent. But anyways, the hornet's nest was pissed. Like we're talking, I think there was like 10 or 15 cars pulled over within like a 5-mile radius.
Really?
Yeah, because it was like 100+ car rally,
right,
or something like that, maybe 80. But either way, so got pulled over. Guy's absolutely fuming. I managed to get him laughing by the end of it, which is fine. But like I had a bunch of things going through my head, right? Like I think the car, like everything was expired on the car, the tabs or everything. It smelled like weed, wasn't. But it smelled like it. I had my co-driver who was at the time, I think he was 17 or whatever, detailer, side hustle.
Right.
Just a bunch of things. I think there was ammunition in the back. Just all these things. I'm like, man,
bunch of red flags.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's like, again, I'm not used to getting pulled over at this point in my life, right? I think I was 19 at the time, or whatever, 18 or 19. So I'm just like, this isn't a regular occurrence for me. Funny, I got pulled over in a different GTR the next year. But anyways, the rumor was, so I did a pull or whatever, like maybe like 3 or 4 miles away, and my buddy, recorded or whatever. Like I did like 150 or whatever. But so I told my brother that, and he told some kid from his school or whatever. No, some kid from his school was on the rally, and the rumor was that I got clocked doing 150.
Okay.
And that I pulled over. I'm like sitting here thinking, like, first of all, if I got clocked doing 150, I'm gonna keep going. You fucking lunatic.
Everyone says that. I've never ran. I don't know about you guys. You think you said it?
Referred 20 minutes ago. I have.
Right.
Allegedly.
Right.
But it's like, I don't know if I would. At least not up north, right? Because like those counties are huge.
I think
Good
what you're
luck.
driving is a huge factor as well. Like
Red
I'm not
GTR.
running in my car. I'm not making a turn. It's going fast.
Here's a funny story
Turbo
too.
Viper, probably gonna go for it.
So speaking of red GTRs, right? So actually, same friend actually. So this was when he had his own GTR or whatever. It wasn't me driving it. Like he actually was driving out at night or whatever, was doing some hits or whatever.
Yeah.
And he ran or whatever.
Sriracha?
No. I don't know Mike like that or Sony, whatever he goes by. Yeah. But anyways, so he ran, and one of our buddies was at at a barbecue or whatever, and the fire chief was there, and apparently he's like, "Did you guys hear about the car chases last night? There was a Hellcat and an orange Corvette." It was a red GTR.
Oh, good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can probably get away if you have a GTR because you have the same taillights. So.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah, same looking taillights.
Absolutely, just a red blur goes by.
Yeah,
red, orange.
It's a fat pig on the back. Like, dude, those GTRs are fat looking cars. But my storytelling skills aren't on point today. But those are some fun. That car is a blast, man. I miss that car.
Yeah.
Let's just put if you roll the dice and you don't get away. That is a whole nother animal of bullshit.
Yeah.
I am a big proponent of, even before, like, when I know I'm caught, like, pull over, be nice.
Hands on.
Be honest.
Yep.
like maybe don't tell them how fast you were going because they've tried to get me on that before too, and I'm like, oh, I really have no idea. I was just concentrating on the road, blah blah blah. You're gonna get yourself on a whole nother level of felonies and bullshit.
Yeah.
My buddy Josh was on a Hayabusa like way back 2007, and he was in, I think, Hastings, Minnesota, and he made it to Hudson in like 7 minutes, and he crossed into Hudson, or no, he got off at Bayport right before Hudson.
Yep.
And there's a chopper following him. And on the live, like, because he's got the recording from the chopper, they're like, as soon as he crosses over, like, we're letting him go. He got off at Bayport, and they
so he got into. Oh my god,
he got in so much trouble. He didn't have a license for like 3 years.
Holy shit,
that's crazy.
It was nuts.
Is that before they had like the no chase laws for bikes?
Yeah, this was like 07, 08.
Yeah, because I think they only introduced those like a decade ago or something. Which, by the way, 2007. That's almost 2 decades ago, bro.
Right.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
that's
coming.
crazy.
So they don't chase bikes?
Depends on the state. I think some states they still do.
I know Minnesota, they won't chase cars either.
Oh, really?
So that's at least what they were saying when we were. So we were at Street Machine Nationals last year, sitting in the lot, Harmar Mall, where everyone meets up, and 2 cops came in, and they have this box on the front of their car. It like shoots stickies, so they will get close enough to you to shoot a sticky onto you, and then it tracks you. Then they back off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you're fucked no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're getting caught one way or another.
Yeah.
Is how I look at it.
I've talked to other friends too that, like, you know, again, like a decade or two ago, you could run no problem.
Absolutely. You could do a lot of things that.
Yeah.
Then.
It's a lot easier to get caught nowadays, you know, so you got to be smarter about where you do your hits and just, you know, you see some of these guys that are out here weaving and, you know, practicing cutting up traffic.
Yeah. No way. Yeah. Like when I test my car, there's a road like 3 blocks from my shop.
Don't you give yourself away.
It's good. It's good. It's like 3 blocks away.
If he gets like 2 seconds out of town, that's all wide open, nothing.
Well, and my shop's right by the airport, so there's all the noise up there anyways.
Oh, okay.
So I'll go test on this street like after 11 o'clock after the warehouse night shifts end.
Yeah.
And we can sit there till like 1 a.m. with no issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he just gave time, place. All right. So we're just going to hop onto the PD website.
There's no rule on how fast you can get to 65 miles an hour, right?
That's true. Fair enough.
Unnecessary acceleration. I think
that is true.
Yeah, they'll get you. They'll get you for something.
That same with out where if you've been to we just had this conversation. You haven't been to Bowen's shop, but yeah, he's like out in Waconia and it's all straight, flat. Not that I'm sure he doesn't test any cars at all whatsoever.
That's like I feel bad for these guys. Having to test drive cars. Where do you go?
Right.
You know, out onto the highway.
Onto 394 and get right in traffic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when Brian was tuning our X3, we went. He's like, oh, go here. And then he's like, make sure you get after it and then get on the brakes because we got to turn. It's like, this sucks. You know?
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's cool knowing where some people street tune.
Right.
But,
yeah, up by me, it's wide open.
Yeah.
Test drives are awesome. So much easier.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Texas 2K goes, man. That one, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
I'm just riding shotgun with this guy. Like, you know, he's got kids to get back to, so I must stick with him.
Right.
Caleb doesn't have kids. I might do one ride with him and call it a day.
That car's going to be fast. He's going to
be stupid.
He's
Yeah.
going to need a little seat time.
Yeah. Well, he'll have almost all of 4 minutes before we take off.
Right.
Yeah. It's going to be kind of crazy because we're going to have my 36-foot gooseneck
Nice.
hooked to mine, and then my Mystic Chrome GT500 and his ZR1 on a trailer. That'd
Is
be
yours
kind of
Mystic
cool.
Chrome?
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I wrapped it. So a friend of ours,
Nice.
Jamie down at Dipworks in
Awesome.
Chippewa Falls. Yeah.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, it's like, what is it called? Like liquid wrap or something?
Yeah, it's a liquid wrap, but
Yeah.
it's like high-end automotive paint.
Okay.
You know, but I can peel it off in 5
So
years.
is it like Plasti Dip?
Yeah, it is, and he hates it when I say it's a
Right.
fancy form of plastic dip. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, I can cut it, buff it. I mean, it's
Really?
yeah, it's insane,
Cool.
and it looks good.
Yeah,
It looks really good.
My fiance, she when we met, she had a Plasti Dipped Trans Am.
Yeah.
It was teal, like bright teal, white wheels, and it's like we should paint this, you know, like this color.
Yep.
And yeah, she picked an awesome color. It's got like, it's almost like illusion. Like it'll go from purple to gold to teal. It's all.
What year is the Trans Am?
01,
Okay.
I believe. Her grandma.
I've
bought
been
it brand
looking
new.
at old Trans Am.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's
I
got
really
an old
want-
one too, like a 70s, 80s.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if I ever get money, I'm gonna act a fool.
Right.
You're gonna
like
see
the Knight
me,
Rider ones.
dude. You're gonna see the biggest fucking mustache, dude. Some of my friends,
Mullet.
dude. Some of my cop friends that I look at them and I'm just like, I look at them like their genetics were just designed for it. They just got the most kick-ass mustache.
Right.
The cop mustache is a real deal, dude.
Yeah. I'm trying to I don't think my buddy Kyle, the guy who's Carver sponsor, and he's a cop, and I don't think he's ever had a mustache.
That's a shame.
Right.
Well, I know some of
Get
those
a
guys have to
mustache,
be
Kyle.
clean shaven too.
What's that?
I think it depends. I think some of those guys have to be clean shaven
Yeah.
as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you could be running around with a huge beard.
Depends, I
Then
think,
again,
right?
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
I'd be worried about someone grabbing it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's where it
You know?
stands.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is short enough. You
Right.
can't really grab that. Like, you and I are all right,
Right.
on that front.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What the hell were we talking about before? There was a good tangent we were on before we started talking about cop mustaches.
We were talking about Plasti Dip and wrapped cars and all that kind of stuff.
No, that's right. We were
No?
talking about
Moving
Texas
on.
2K before
Hmm.
that, too. So, yeah,
Okay.
no, dude, like, because Caleb hasn't driven a fast car in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's just been, I think he's been driving that Passat or whatever.
Yeah.
When before that, he had about an STI.
No, dude, he's had a bunch of different cars. Like, he,
He
had
had
the
a GT500
Trackhawks.
for a little while. He told me
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
07, 09 era.
That dude's gone through so many cars, but
Right.
again, it's like, he has been getting that C7 built for freaking ever. So I don't know what else he had before that was fast.
Right. Didn't he have a SRT8 Jeep too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trackhawk. He said, yeah.
Trackhawk.
I think he's had an SRT8 too as well.
Okay.
I don't know. It's hard to keep track with
I
some of
want
these
to
people.
say that he blew one of those up and had to put an engine in it.
I think so. I don't know. I can't
back.
keep. Yeah, I don't know. He may have brought that up when we were getting pizza. Dude, Black Sheep pizza. I'm thinking about that. It's so good right now.
So good.
But no, my point being, it's like, man, like I went from driving my car like a baby for like 2 months, and it's like, finally getting on it again. It's like, I know this isn't a lot of horsepower, but this is surprisingly quick. So what is it going to be when you go from a 100 horsepower Passat to a
Right.
whatever 1,000 horsepower
Right.
01?
Well, that's like, the winter blues. Like,
Yeah.
thankfully this year, like, it's been awesome. So we've been tuning cars all winter long.
Mm-hmm.
But before this, like, March hits and you get a bolt-on Z06 in that you're tuning. It's like, this thing's fast, because you haven't been in anything in
Yeah.
6 months.
It's so weird how we get accustomed to speed, man.
Right.
Do you have any other fun projects that you've done recently before we kind of taper down?
Personal wise, we have Deanne's Trans Am. We have the X3M. That's full bolt on, Brian tuned.
Okay.
Um,
Quality.
dude, it's a riot. It's highly recommend it. And then I got a 83 wagon with an LS.
Okay.
It's dirty. It's ratty. The Mustang. I had a Fox body that I just sold recently. Not a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Work's been so busy that working
Yeah.
on your own stuff. So, like, just pulling my turbo kit off the other day was like, you gotta work on this thing. Anytime you're not getting paid to do your job,
Yeah.
kind of sucks.
And what about customer cars? Anything fun on that
We've
front?
been trying to get out of the builds.
I know you did a Urus recently, like a stage 2 or something.
Yep. That was a tune, filters, downpipes,
Okay.
minimal, but still fun.
Probably like what? How much wheel do you usually pick up on those?
I'd have to ask AJ. I think he sent me the dyno sheet. I think it was like 6 something, 7 something.
Okay. Yeah, that's a fun
They
car.
rip.
I was in the Savage Garage Urus on Crown Rally, I believe.
Cool.
No, I rode it's when Gold Rush Rally came into town. I got a ride in it. That was cool when Alex Troy was driving me for rollers.
Okay.
That was kind of cool.
So he went up through Fargo afterwards.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
What an
on his
interesting
way
route.
back.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Okay.
Alex Troy, right? The
Yeah.
YouTube guy?
Yeah, yep.
Did he have his pink? It was like a pink McLaren or something.
Oh, yeah, he's yeah. That's yep.
Something like
I don't know
that.
what he had
Yeah.
on that rally.
Got it.
Yeah, that was an interesting one because they also had the 812. I don't know, a bunch of fun stuff. But yeah,
Right.
no, you guys kind of work out a little bit of everything from the Euro to whatever.
Yeah.
So kinda
Our
closing.
biggest focus right now is just BMW maintenance and repair. It's so much easier. The
you guys-
customers are better.
okay. Are you doing any performance stuff with like the new S58s at all?
Here and there.
Okay.
There's only like 4 in town up there.
True.
So
Yeah.
that's tough. We had an M3 on order before that lawsuit, and I got scared, so I canceled it.
Okay, fair.
But so I would love an M3 again.
Let's
or to
hope
get one.
let's hope you don't pick up another lawsuit after this airs tomorrow.
Man, yeah, right? Yeah, no, I think we've weeded out the trash pretty well.
Okay.
So are you still going to continue then? Obviously, you're building your Mustang up again. Are you going to concentrate then, if you get away from more customer builds, are you going to be still building cars and racing, doing all that stuff
Yes
too?
and no. The way I look at it right now is if I can't start to finish your car in 3 days, I don't want to do it.
Okay.
So custom fab, no more. Custom wiring, no more. There's no money in it. And then anytime something happens, you're to blame.
Yep.
It could be like we put a Holly in a car and it failed like a week later. No reason. Well, you messed it up. It's like, it's not how it works,
Right.
Everyone's just so quick to point the blame.
Yeah.
So BMW customers, I'm very good with them. So, diagnosis is 95% of the time spot on. It's just, you quote it, they approve it, it leaves.
Yeah.
It's way easier.
Yeah.
I can have parts in a day. So
Yeah, true. That helps.
yeah. So COVID really killed the performance stuff for me.
Yeah, it seems like that's the case for a lot of people. I know some shops are trying to decide which way to go, towards the performance more, or the maintenance
It's going to
side.
end up like body shops. They just got way too comfortable doing insurance work, and now they won't do custom stuff anymore.
And like prime example, like what Rat's got going here is great performance wise, because it seems like there's a way better clientele for that. Not so much on the Ford and Chevy side.
Okay.
Is how I kind
all
of.
them rednecks just got,
They want everything for
Yeah.
nothing, like Midnight Performance down in Texas. Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
You probably have too.
Yeah.
They're in Houston, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was at their meet for Texas 2K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Builds awesome stuff. Really good work. Everything works awesome. But then like customers up here will call me and be like, "Hey, I want, Manuel just built this 1200 horse Mustang. It runs 3s on the street." It's like, cool. That's like $60,000. Well, he did it for 20. Like then drive to Texas and have him do it for 20. It's not, and it's not going to be 20. It's people just get this idea in their heads that everything can be done for nothing. It's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to get rid of.
Yeah. It's a simple algorithm. There's my time it's going to take to do it. That's a certain rate.
Right.
Parts are this much. Like you add this shit together. That's
Well,
just
that
how you.
like we're on point. Like our labor rate is on point with like dealer level. So we're at 165 right now. You're not going to pay me 165 an hour to put headers on your car.
Yeah.
Why would you? You
Right.
know. So
Yeah, true. And that's
like that kind of stuff. You can go anywhere and have it done for $80 an hour.
right.
But I don't want to work for $80 an hour.
That makes sense.
Right.
Well, sweet. Do you want to pop the usual 3, Dan? Then we can get some tacos.
Sure. Sounds good. So at the end of every episode, we ask our guest question. We would like you to pick 3 cars. You have unlimited budget and unlimited imagination. We need a track car, a daily driver, and
Show car.
show car.
Man.
That damn cruise got your
It
brain
did.
sizzling.
I got it.
Right. I'm gonna go daily driver G80 M3.
Okay.
Nice. I had a blast driving one for all of 5 minutes from here to charged.
Yeah, so either that or X3M. I love our X3M.
Oh, you gotta lock one in now, buddy.
M3.
All right.
Race would be like a 15 to 1700 horse single cab short box Ford.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
okay.
like next
the,
on
the,
my
the
list
newer
right
ones,
now.
right?
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm working a deal with a guy right now. I'm hoping it works out. It's
somebody locally or
no,
Okay.
Maryland.
dude, I was looking at some of those. Dude, I really want
They're
one of
riots. They're kind of
Cletus
unbeatable.
has one,
A
right?
buddy of mine
Yeah, yep.
just bought one.
Really?
That guy who was an electrical company. He called me. He's like, "What would you do? This Charger or this one?"
Yeah.
He's basically gonna build himself a Lightning.
Cool.
Yeah, and he's like, "I paid like $40,000 for this truck."
Right.
Yeah, and I'm
That
gonna,
and some of them, there's like dealerships doing whip
packages,
Yeah,
yeah.
like $48,000.
Yep.
It's cheap.
Yeah. Crazy. Dude, I was looking at those and they're all wheel drive too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude.
So like this guy that I know that has the one for sale, he just sold his 2-wheel drive. And I commented, I was like, man, if this was 4-wheel drive, I'd be on my way. Mm-hmm. And he messaged me, he's like, well, I have this one. And they put a built motor in it and it locked up immediately. So he's sick of it and wants to get rid of it. So it's like, cool. If the price is right, broke the truck. Mm-hmm. But we haven't agreed on a price yet.
Dude, because I think Cletus is it's like 1,000 horsepower Whipple or something like that, right?
Yeah. As long as you do a crank support and like a 10 rib, they're pretty indestructible. But the Whipples are limited, way more limited than turbo in them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's when you start talking 1,500, 1,700 horsepower. I really want one of those. My buddy has one. It's really cool.
Yeah, they're a blast.
Yeah. All right, and then show car.
Show car would be a Turbo S. I want a Turbo S real bad.
992 Turbo S?
I don't know the body codes yet.
The newest one.
Like, yeah.
The world record one or whatever,
Yeah, like the beautiful ones. Like 400 grand.
Yeah. I can't wait for the new GT2 RS to drop.
Yeah.
That I'm excited for. Because if it's even half as good as the new GT3 RS, it's going to be
We
ridiculous.
saw a GT3 RS for like 460.
Yeah, they're ridiculous right now.
So is a GT2 like 600?
Well, they haven't even dropped them yet. So it's going to be
Okay.
2026, I think.
Got it.
But that's basically that car, but with... So the last generation, I think it was twin turbo or whatever.
Okay.
And those are selling used for 500. Man. So that's the next step up from GT3, because the GT3 is the naturally aspirated one.
Yep.
Then you get the turbo one with and you know it's just ridiculous. I need to get me a Porsche expert on the show at some point.
Right.
There's some people I'd like to
You
reach
should
out
have
to.
Will Dugas on.
Is he a Porsche expert? Or you just mean in general?
He's had a bunch of Porsches.
He's got a bunch of everything though.
Yeah, dude, he's got a fleet
Yeah.
of cars.
I'd be curious if he'd want to come on or whatever, because that dude's got some stories.
You might be able to get him like remote, or if he's in town.
Well, I mean, we're Texas 2K, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, I haven't even thrown the idea out to him, but it was fun hanging out with him in Texas or whatever. We were just
he's
down
a
there.
great guy. Him and Rachel are awesome.
Yeah, man. Oh, dude, she's the fastest woman or whatever in a Viper.
Yep.
She's doing mid sevens in a Gen 3 Viper,
Yeah,
which
they
is
just
also
went, what, 760.
Yeah, I think she just ran like a 760 this weekend.
Like 190 almost. It's insane.
Dude, she is so comfortable in that car.
Right.
Like, she's made for speed.
Those guys are awesome. Me and Deanne, I show her all the time. Like, this guy, he just bought this. You know, like a week later, he just bought this. You know, just drooling.
Yeah, his Ford GT is beautiful.
Yeah.
All of his cars are
Everything
beautiful.
he
He's got
has.
good taste.
Yeah. So I met him when he was like big into the street race scene with the Silver Viper.
Colossus.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll see. Again, at the end of the day, like some of these guys like to stay private too.
Right.
Not everybody wants to come on a
Absolutely.
podcast. So,
Absolutely.
you know, some stories will never make it to the internet.
Right.
That-
Yeah, he's had a bunch of cool Turbo S's, and that's kind of what sparked my interest for him.
Interesting. Okay. I don't know. I don't even think of him for Porsche.
I think he's had 3 since I've been friends with him.
Yeah.
And like Rachel drives them majority, it seems, but still they're
Yeah, they cycle him. It's
like full bolt. He'll do like full bolt on with a turbo kit, and they'll make 1,000 horse. And
crazy.
yeah, like the one year he strapped a Christmas tree to the roof of it and went and ran like a 9-second on the street. Yeah.
I've never seen that before. That's cool.
Yeah, it was- Yep.
Well, sweet, man. Well, on that note, first of all, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
this is a
thanks, guys.
blast. I'm glad we were able to make it work. He just came back from his cruise. You came into town. Perfect timing.
Yep.
Let's see. On that note, everybody, make sure to sign up for the community rally. I'm really excited. We had 4 V10s sign up to a week and a half ago.
What are the
Really?
dates for that?
Let's see. North is June 7th through 9th. So
Okay.
that's Minneapolis, Chicago.
Okay.
And then South is August 23rd to the 25th. So that's Chicago to Alpharetta.
Got it.
Well, Chicago, Lexington, Alpharetta.
Okay.
Have you done a rally before?
No.
Oh,
So
really?
They're so much fun.
So when I was building my Mustang, I always said I'm going to do Crown Rally.
Yeah.
And then like I was always scared to go that far with the car. And then Crown Rally was done, and it's like, well, what's next? So obviously your guys is
Yeah, there's a handful of rallies out there. Well, actually, I have a spreadsheet from actually one of Rat's customers. A couple years ago, he put together a spreadsheet of every rally in the country.
Cool.
Like 50 of them.
yeah.
You know, people I've never even heard of. And he was basically just looking for the best value or whatever. And I think we were like top 5, top 10
Nice.
or whatever. Because that's the way I like to structure my events.
Right.
Build the value first, then put a price
Right.
on top of it.
Yeah, because Crown was like $3,500 or something.
And there's some
wasn't
value
it?
to that, right?
And like they did a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I get it. but
And
it definitely points towards a certain crowd.
Yeah.
And towards the end, it started getting more and more expensive. But again, then you start buying exclusivity. And this is a debate I have all the time with
Right.
people. It was justified. It just wasn't justified for some people anymore.
Exactly.
You know, some things you get priced out of. The nice thing about what Dan's trying to build, community, not this Dan, Balto,
Yep.
is he's trying to build something for a little bit of everybody. You know, so you know,
Right.
from the cruises to the car shows to
Yeah.
the rallies. The rally is
Absolutely.
supposed to be the upper echelon.
Right.
It's not supposed to be for everybody.
Right.
You know, I used to do the $250 rallies. Everybody's like, "Oh, if you do a $250 rally, I'll be there." Guess who only had nine fucking
Yeah, that's
signups?
gonna be us cruising to Culver's and then staying at
Exactly.
Super
Yeah,
8.
that's a
like, I'm
Wednesday
sorry.
night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I mean, it's not.
I'm not here to sell anybody on that.
Exactly.
You know, I'm not here.
There's gonna be two track events. This one in June
Cool.
is gonna be So we'll do drag strip and some
Where are you
road
guys
course.
for the drag strip.
Yeah.
Rock Falls.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because they got
Yeah.
some new management over there or something now
Yeah,
too.
they just hired a
That
guy.
guy's super chill.
Is he?
I had a good conversation with him. I think his name was Travis.
They need someone good because it's been rough.
That guy was a riot to talk to on the phone.
They had hired one guy and like they were gonna have this huge event and like everyone went to the track and this guy wasn't there. It turns out he got a DUI the night before.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
like
crazy.
his 7th one.
oh.
Yeah, and then he was gone.
Freaking
after
Wisconsin
that.
problems.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I know that Kyle from Upscale Designs, the guy with the Supra. I'm sure you know him, but
Okay. Oh, yeah. Carrie.
yeah, that's Carrie. Sorry,
Carrie,
why the
yeah.
fuck did I say Kyle? Carrie. Yeah, I literally just picked up some of my hoodies that I'm about to ship out from
Nice.
him. But yeah, he's gonna have some event out there that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Yeah,
see.
he was messaging me one for Brainerd too.
Yeah. So I'm going to see how I can help him promote some stuff because, again, I want to make it out to more events this season. We're also going to have a kind of like a, not a partnership, like a co-hosted track day at Brainerd, like one of the driving schools.
Yeah.
So that's going to be May 20th. I'm still waiting to drop some details on that. But
Okay.
I think that covers all the event stuff. I don't know. This doesn't even concern you, if I'm being honest. Or
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
doing my
yeah.
usual
Yeah,
stuff.
No, it'd be really cool to see you on a rally.
Yeah.
Other than going to the track news, it's like my favorite thing to do with my car.
Right. Well, like
It's
as
so
soon as we
awesome.
got our X3, it was like, cool, this is our rally. Like we
Yeah.
can go do a Crown Rally now, and then
Yeah.
that didn't happen again. So
Yeah.
we're definitely looking
Yeah.
for a replacement.
I think bang for buck wise, I think we're crushing on this one.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited on that. Like, cause like for example, our South one is everything that Whiplash was, but also $100 cheaper. I honestly, I told Dan, I'm like, are you sure we should be charging this little for South? Like
Right.
that one's gonna be the bargain one. But at the same time, North, like 2 tracks.
Right.
We got drag strip and then also the track day at Autobahn.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be fun.
Well, then it ends in the Chicago area. It's a 6-hour jaunt back for us,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
not
an
bad.
additional 4 for you.
Right.
So
Yeah, and that's the
nothing.
nice thing is my parents still live in town, so I can come halfway, crash,
Yeah.
go the
Okay.
rest the next day.
would you bring your wife then, something
yeah.
like that? Yeah. So that's my
She-
wife. Oh,
She's a big
loves it.
driver, like Power Cruise.
Yeah.
Best time ever. Riding passenger, watching her enjoy it is
That's
I-
awesome.
do that for your significant others.
Yeah. Well, that's what she gets kind of upset because not a lot of people there's their 2 buddies or whatever. So like she always gets, not that she doesn't fit right in with everybody, but she likes it when there's some more girls and stuff
Right.
go on it too.
Yeah,
Especially once.
absolutely.
So my wife, when I called you that one time,
Yep.
she has a 13, gotta have it green, and I
Okay.
was trying to decide she wanted boost.
Got it.
I ended up putting a Pro Charger on it.
Yep.
But she can drive.
Right.
So it's nice when other girls that got cars and do stuff like that too.
Right.
It's neat.
Yeah, like my fiance's Trans Am's a stick, and I remember the first time I went to Fargo and I rode in it, I was like, I don't mean to sound like a guy,
Yeah.
I was like, but you're really good at driving a stick, like, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, my little lady brain, can I not, like,
Yeah.
It's usually
my
what they
lady
say.
hands.
Yeah.
God.
Where do you guys find these women? I'm trying
I
to
don't
figure.
know.
Dude, she's the best.
The ones that aren't Luna